Welcome to D6 Stories. I'm your host, Josh. We're playing the session 10, I think, of Cataclysm, and here is our lovely players, and I'm gonna have them do a roll call, and you know what? Just to keep with last session's theme, state what your character is, your name and your character, and say what you like about Elrindle.
Are we gonna do Jeff's character last?
Yeah, we can do Jeff's character last.
Really give me time on this one.
What I like about Elrindle is what I
my
don't
name is
like.
Ryan. I'm playing Felric Folkwer. I'm a monk, and what I like about Arundel.
Wait, is this
You're
us
Arundel?
Or whatever.
or our characters?
Your characters.
Because it'd be easy for Jeff to do that.
So what my character likes about him is doesn't really take all that much damage, so easy to protect.
Okay. So
That's the secret. Hide behind the healer.
we're gonna skip over Jeff for now because he's racking his brain. Liz?
Is spraying something over there?
It's so bad.
It's getting a little smoky in here.
It's so bad.
What I like about Elrindle is he's not afraid to admit to being one of the weakest people in the party.
Is that true?
You know, where'd
And
you
his
pull that
cowardness and hiding. His
Tactical retreat.
All right, Nate. What do you like about yourself?
Everything. Wouldn't change a thing.
You wouldn't change a thing. You want to introduce your character?
Yes.
Oh, this is...
Elrindel, the wild magic sorcerer. Apparently treated like absolute royalty. Loved by all.
Emily?
I'm Emily. I play Mississippi Trill, a halfling rogue, and Mississippi's favorite thing about Elrindel is probably... it's a struggle. You know what? I'm just gonna make it easy and say his fashion sense.
Okay.
He keeps himself
I just realized I don't know what he
Well-
wears or what he
well
looks like.
dressed. Well, he's made a point of saying that he wears nice robes and things like that. So he's like pretty to look at.
Okay.
That's about it.
Pretty sure Evan is still using a blanket. That's like the under cover.
A shawl.
Jeff,
from.
I basically just gave you a deadline of write me a 10-page paper on this thermodynamics in 5 minutes, and now it's up to you to prove that you could do it.
I'll take the class again next semester. Gideon would probably say at this point, that he's glad and secretly hoping that at least he's a good liar.
You like that he's a good liar.
And in this scenario that we are facing right now,
Okay.
again, this is Gideon hoping for that,
Yeah, hoping.
not confident that
You're-
he actually is serious about these courses of actions.
Especially what happened last session.
Yes.
Okay.
So, in this scenario, him being a good liar that's what he's hoping for. So, there are no good qualities to pull from, so he pulled from the full less of all the evils.
Okay.
Oh, and one time he did agree with Gideon. So, at least he had wisdom.
I kept my words. You didn't go splat on your stupid entrance.
Yep.
Fun time.
That was before you knew what he truly was.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of just a quick recap. You guys are in the grand city of Redmere right now. It is a large industrious town. It has a gold mine off to the east that it uses apparently gold is a good arcane conduit, so it uses it in the internal mechanisms of all these big, gigantic war machines and constructs. And there are construct-like men that are walking around the town too. I think we only briefly touched on that because we never got to interact with any of them. Just because that's the way last session went, right? You guys had just made a deal, and that deal is to go into the gold mines and quell the mushroom men that are basically not completely halting, but interfering with the gold mining that is happening there, which is put a thorn in the side of the business. Yeah. And in turn for doing that, Nate gets to get married, Elrindel gets to get married into a very rich and prosperous family that has direct ties to the Grand Arcanist, and it seems like a win-win.
That's gonna be awkward.
What's that?
Said, "Oh, if he's at the wedding, that's gonna be awkward."
We'll see. We'll see. That's if you don't have cold feet.
Yes.
That's assuming
There's assuming a lot
That's
of things.
where the whole I really
a
am
lot
hoping.
of things.
That's where I'm really hoping he's a good liar.
I'm,
That's what I'm really hoping for.
I'm going to kill his wife.
I might kill him.
Understandable.
Although he's the only one that has the chest thing, so I don't know if our DM would actually let me kill him. So.
I don't think the DM would prevent you from trying.
Yeah.
Well, you
If it happens, it happens.
just
I mean,
keep calling me
there's-
the DM and not Josh or. Anyways, okay, so here you are in Redmere, and you're basically getting ready to head off to the mines. You know, that's where we left off, right? I don't think you had left the city yet.
We were. She requested a pack mule and didn't specify what
Yes.
breed.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna free
she
this
requested a
slave.
pack mule,
I'm gonna start
and
a rebellion.
she got a human man, big and burly, carrying a gigantic backpack.
So an orc?
Yep, big slave collar around his neck.
I still have to. When you say man, I'm like, okay. Oh wait, no wait.
It's like
There
translated.
is only one man walking this earth, as far as I know.
One human,
Yeah.
Human.
as you know it to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to go meet Erden, the half elf, which in D&D terms is a dragonborn, right?
Okay.
He had green scales,
Yeah, it makes
long
no sense.
snout, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But that's okay, because
Um,
nothing in this world makes sense.
That's not true, but we'll. Anyways, so here we are in Redmere. You have a little bit of time to kind of just.
Do we still have collars on?
No, those collars were taken off as soon as you were off the estate. Yeah, those
So
were
you're
only
generous.
you only had to have those on when you were basically in the presence of nobility.
Okay.
So you don't need those on in the city. Now you are in Redmere, so let me just kind of describe for the two that are that weren't here. There's a smog that's kind of like enveloped the city from these large factories that are kind of pumping out, and you can tell that there are many iron forges, metal forges, gold forges that are creating these large metallic pieces that go onto these gigantic constructs that are nestled here and there within the city, pumping out acrid black smoke into the atmosphere and kind of covering the entire city into a fog. You can't see more than 100 or so feet in front of you. It's so thick and yeah, prevalent. The way the town is made up, you two have visited Redmere. right? Redmere in the past, it was the closest city to your temple, so it was a common every couple of day occurrence to leave and go to Redmere. Redmere is a happening place.
Oh,
it's a large, bustling city. So it was a great place for you to go
Play shows there all the
and play your
time.
shows.
And I would imagine that Abbott probably founded a hospital there in Redmere somewhere, or some sort of healing temple
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. at some point.
Yeah, we can work with that.
Is this where the Bard Hall of Fame is located?
Right next to the Abbott Hall of Fame. Right next to Abbott is the greatest that ever lived.
That was you were 2 weeks ago. All right, now it's all about Nate.
There was a theater
Yeah.
that one of the it's like a 3-stage theater, and one of the stages was called the Gideon stage.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That is
Like
pretty
plaques
fancy.
and everything.
Like dedicated to you, and it was brand new 321 years ago.
Sure.
But you haven't
Is
stepped
the-
over near it yet.
Is the local landscape similar?
So-
I mean, there would have been a lot of change if they changed everything to steel.
Yeah,
right?
so the buildings generally in the same locations as you remember.
Sure.
However, none of the wood is remaining.
Sure.
And most of the stonework looks to be original to the town, 300 and so many years, 400 years, 500 years old. However, it looks like the city's kind of been rebuilt at some point.
Okay.
And everything's generally in the same place. It's just in a new image, with the steel and iron kind of dominating the buildings here.
Okay.
So yeah, one of the things that we did is Nate wanted to go visit this park or garden that he used to frequent, and it was still there, although a little different. But generally it just was the same.
Had a new statue.
Yep. So
Yeah. New
Is that significant or?
It's
It's very
so the
descriptive of the
it's got my future ex-wife's father on it.
yes.
yeah, and he's stabbing a human through the skull. So it's like, yeah, this is Redmere now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so then there's this bloodlust, and also the city has expanded. It's larger than it used to be, and outside the walls there was kind of like a little shanty town.
Sure.
That wasn't there before.
Okay.
There's a poverty level out there that was not present before. Before it was it's still a very prosperous city, whatnot. There's just more people living here and squalor
slaves.
outside, and yeah, they're all
slaves.
Okay. So that's what you're at, and
Slaves.
Have we been around the town at all?
you've been around it a little bit. You visited a tavern, kind of walked through the main street, gone over to the garden, went over to the estate, and then went back through the main street out to the slaughter fields to watch that happen. And
Love this place.
yeah, so that's basically it. You've gone down the main street like 3 times and branched off to go to the garden once, and that's about it. So you haven't really kind of gone deep into the city or into the kind of the side locations or locales. So you haven't been near the theater that has the one
Gideon stage.
with the Gideon stage.
That's fine.
It's not that far off. You know, it did take you a couple minutes just to walk over there.
How are we being treated in general?
So in
Real
general,
well.
in general,
Elrindel is
you are
a
ignored
Great and generous master.
because he's there.
You know, are we pretending to be his master, or are we pretending that he's our master?
So far,
That's what
In
we're
in
We're
the
for us so
in
far.
the 1 to 2 incidences where that mattered, that it is what has happened. Yes.
Okay.
It happened in the tavern and it happened at the estate.
And the garden.
and
And the garden.
basically,
garden.
basically,
Because
ever since
I also
we met,
apparently needed a chair.
ever since we met Nate's fiance.
I will say that if there was any talk of like genocide towards the mushroom people while he was present, someone was going to have to escort him out of the room.
So her name is Carriolis, and then
we were
the father-in-law is the
Is Ver.
future
Right.
father-in-law is Veralis.
I assume we were all T-posing.
Curalis or Curio?
She was there. I sent you
Curious.
with the other slaves to like the kennels
So we were in the
because
kennels?
I saw just him.
Just, where was I this whole time?
You were T-posing.
Yeah.
T-posing? Just standing outside going,
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Arundel's shown restraint on like abusing the fact that you guys have to act this way, except when he saw the opportunity to humiliate Gideon.
So, and you guys don't necessarily know about the drug use. Did you tell them about the drug use?
Yes.
I mean, assuming they were T-posing, yes, because she asked what fairy dust was, and Elrondil's response was awesome.
Which both tells us he has experienced it and it's some kind of consumable.
Yes.
And you don't. Let's see. The only one that had kind of any interaction with drugs in prior to this was Abbott, and it was mostly just medicines and stuff like that.
Oh, like
There's
medicine.
no-
I was gonna say, Abbott hasn't just been sitting here doing like.
No. No, I'm talking
Terrible.
about. I'm talking about
Yes.
just not using it, but interaction.
Yes, using it to help people
Yeah.
in a medicinal way.
Yep.
Okay.
Although Elrondil would argue that that's what's happening here. So, so that's where you're at. So you're
It's natural, it's from the earth.
you're in this Redmere. You do have kind of free roam to do. You have a date with Erden, and I think you pushed it off until tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you have a whole day to kind of explore the city, continue exploring the city, or we can just fast forward to
Well,
visiting and catching up with the half-elf.
Gideon is gonna say that he's gonna go look for just check out the old spot.
Okay. Are you gonna go by yourself?
Oh yeah. Because as soon as I leave, I'm actually going to the slums.
Okay.
Arundel would probably also. So since he saw how Abbott was remembered, he has to go see how Gideon's remembered.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
So I'd be going towards that.
So you're
I'm
going
surprised you
towards
haven't-
the theater.
Yes.
Ask
Okay.
about yourself.
At some point, I just want to slip away from him.
Okay. And then what do you three want to do?
I would like to go see, like, just take a look and see what the hospital I built
Okay.
is in shape it's in and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Since we're all splitting up,
Yep.
yeah.
I was gonna say, is this one of those theoretically we have enough time to take a lap around town, or is
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay. Library, but I'm probably gonna need him for that.
Okay.
And
So you're gonna walk with them for now, and then
For
and then
now,
convince
yeah.
them after the.
yeah,
the
we need to
evening.
go to a library, and then I also still want to try and see if I can't find an entrance to the ruins.
Okay. Yeah, because there's ruins that are underneath the city here as well.
How far away
That was
is
my
the one
undergrad thesis.
restaurant that I wanted to go to from where they're going?
Murder games?
Oh yeah, but you didn't want.
Is that here?
the
You
gnomes
don't-
keep
oh.
poisoning people.
We're not with her right now. She's back at the estate.
Yeah,
No, it's a desert.
Okay.
just a couple minute walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since I would know that, I'm going to go with them and let them know that when we get closer towards the thing, I'm going to see if they still have as good of shawarma as I remember.
Where
All right.
the red dot-
You want to roll a stealth check?
Do you see the red dot?
You slipping away from.
That's gonna be an 18.
Okay.
Good job.
That beats their passives.
That meets my passive.
Yep.
That meets my passive.
Meets your passive. So you do notice, but you have the option of saying something or not.
I whisper to her.
Okay.
I say I'm gonna go. I just tell her. Because I can message her.
Okay.
I just tell her I'm gonna go find some talk about rebellion. See where Because in a city this with this kind of
Yeah.
overarching power,
Yeah.
there's obviously a resistance somewhere.
Yeah.
There's got to be, and so I'm going to go see about a resistance because
Now I want to go with him.
So
Because,
I tell you exactly where I'm going. I'm going to the slums. I'll meet you guys back over there. Just I can't be around him right now. Because if he literally sent me to dog pens,
Yeah, you're pissed.
You're
pissed.
I would be mad on your behalf.
Oh yeah, no, he is.
I will remind you, you haven't had to wear slave collars the entire time outside of that
Sneak off
state.
then too?
Yes.
And then
What do you roll for?
And then
stealth?
I fart in your face again.
That is a 17.
Okay, so that beats theirs. So basically, you guys are walking, and they just kind of slink back and walk in the back of the group, and eventually just
Down
Not
an
there.
alley.
you. After a few minutes, you do look around and you notice they're not with you.
Better two of us than just one of us.
And so the three of you do notice that they're not with you after a few moments.
I'll
a few
whisper
minutes.
to her, and I'll
But
whisper to him.
It's enough time.
As soon as I'm out of state,
Yeah, it's
outside.
enough time to them. They're completely gone. You have no idea where they would have went, but you just know they're not with you anymore.
I will as soon as we kind of get out of sight, because it's got a decent distance. It's got 120 distance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whisper to her and to him, same thing. Just say, "Hey guys, we're just gonna go check this out.
Yeah.
Keep Big Head busy. keep the Wiztard busy."
Okay. Okay.
That's source tard?
So
As far as I'm concerned, you're still a Wiztard.
So
Gideon, I think what you're doing is great, Nate.
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
just be very clear?
Oh, yeah.
And if Gideon dies, I'll create a character that just totally goes along with your insanity.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
man.
So you're now standing in the three of you are now standing in front of the theater, and the restaurant's only a block away. So you only have a little bit further to go for the restaurant. And the hospital is a couple blocks, but in the same direction. So you might as well have walked with them this far.
Sweet.
So you're standing in front of the theater, and it the theater itself is a little fantastical because prior to this, it just had a painted sign up front with fancy painted colors and kind of a arched entranceway with little cordon roped off ways where you can kind of walk in and kind of get gathered up into different. And there's usually there was like in the past, there's usually some sort of bard or whatnot, kind of shouting lines from the play, like
A
hook,
crier.
like crier, and they're like kind of like trying to hook you into seeing the plays or seeing or maybe it's music that night or what have you. It's taken that idea and has put magic to it. Now you have magical dancing lights that kind of like circle all around, and the crier's voice is now amplified, obviously with magic. And when he's saying things, like he's saying a line, and he's like, "And true love's kiss," there's like a heart that kind of like goes out of his mouth and like breaks in a little bubble, and it's all these like flair and panache, yeah, exactly. It that kind of just sells it and whatnot. You can hear kind of like elevator style music kind of emanating from inside of the theater itself.
Floppy.
Yeah.
Human music.
Yeah, human music. It's just like that music they would play during intermission, just kind of like emanating throughout but you don't see anybody
Public
playing the music. It's just kind of emanating just from the
Room.
the
Lobby.
lobby. So that's what you're standing and you're looking at, and you're like, you're hungry. Do you want to go leave, or do you want to go into the theater?
Yeah, Night at the Opera sounds good.
Okay.
It's going well.
So, you go in, and there are 3 shows that are being shown right now, or playing. None of them are happening yet. It's too early. These are all nighttime, kind of evening
There's
shows.
no matinees.
There's no matinees. So I would like. We have 2 people that are not here, so I want them to come up with a title of something that's there, and I'm going to come up with one. So I'm gonna. So mine is going to be the High Elves Sweet Lips. That's the name of the play.
It's a murder mystery.
And it very well could be. So that's the name of the play that's going on in one of them. Emily, do you have a good name of a play, opera, band? Even could just be a band.
Let's go with Mission Improbable.
Mission Improbable. Okay.
And it's
Like comedy skit.
It's a comedy heist.
Okay.
Super high comedy, which
Okay.
is probably not very popular here.
Okay.
Slaughterhouse Rules. There has to be a gore fest with all these violent.
And it says guaranteed actual murder
Yep.
underneath in little.
Do they sell tickets at an extra price for the splash zone?
Yes, please bring a canvas blanket with you, otherwise you'll get covered in blood.
Like going to a
Unless you
Gallagher
want-
show.
yeah, there's
Half of them have prestidigitation. They can just get
Yeah.
it off pretty fast.
so you go and you look and you know that the we'll say the Slaughterhouse Rules is playing in what would have been the Gideon stage, right? It is now called the Veralis stage.
Of course
It is all his signage has been taken off.
Yep.
It looked like utter care has been taken to replace it with more
Bigger and better signage.
bigger and better signage.
Get that.
So there is no mention of Gideon anywhere within the theater itself. Unlike where you saw with Abbott and whatnot, where there was like defacing and stuff like that, this is
Completely replacing.
just completely replacing.
erasing.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
there was
Gideon.
no.
There's nothing
Figured-
Gideon
That should be the
Memorial.
name of another play.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Gideon.
He didn't want to see what happened to it. He didn't want to see.
Okay. So, did you go to the restaurant, or are you
Yeah.
going? So you go to the restaurant, and it was a small little corner shop that was kind of ran by a few gnomes. It still seemed to be a family owned. However, you do see that there is a kind of an elf kind of sitting up at the bar and is actively making derogatory terms towards one of the gnomish waitresses that is walking around, just belittling them.
Being a
And-
sleaze.
Being
Hey, it doesn't
sleaze.
take much to belittle a gnome. They're already little.
So it's they're butting them.
I guess that's happening now. Okay,
Yeah.
you're there. She's getting bud.
Is that balloon?
Yeah, bulletin. So, anyways, yes. But you remember that there was good food here, and it was always a family-owned restaurant. So usually, that's how these kind of things with classic home-style meals, kind of in that gnomish fashion.
Shawarma.
Shawarma, right? Is that what you said before?
Yeah.
And you do smell that same kind of aromas and whatnot. However, there's this elephant in the room, which is this elf that's just sitting there and being a complete ass to everybody in the room.
Not me
Go.
for once.
Might as well be, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go up towards the where the counter,
Mhm.
and it takes a little bit, probably because of the height of the chairs, or they have gnomish sized seats.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So I'd get on a deal not too far from the elf, and I put in an order.
Okay.
And I just kind of glance over occasionally and see what the elf is doing.
Okay. The elf is not eating the food that's been placed in front of him. Right? It's he's got a, I don't even know what shawarma is. Whatever a shawarma is on the plate. Okay.
Like a
Shaved
gyro?
beef and yeah, it's a euro.
Is
Is
it?
it?
Here?
It's a euro.
Oh, so it's just Greek food?
Didn't
Yeah.
you ever watch the end of Adventures?
I mean, yes,
like a
but I didn't
pita.
pay
It's the
attention to the
post-credit
food.
scene,
So
I,
like
Oh.
a pita.
I didn't pay attention to the
it's
food they were
a euro.
eating in
It's
there.
a euro.
Okay,
It's
so
like you.
okay, so then yeah.
Yeah, guys, we won. Yay.
Like Cap's just like
Do you know why? Because he had grown a beard
For
Had to hide it.
Snowpiercer.
for another video, and they came back to film, and he had to hide his
He had a
beard.
he had a
Yeah,
prosthetic
because
jaw.
that scene was too good to not be included. Anyways, so yeah, yeah,
He's not even eating the food.
he's not even eating the food, and
But remember, we also I'm not there, so maybe you wouldn't remember. Never mind.
So
Poison.
Poison him.
I am gonna eat mine.
Okay.
And then I am gonna look over and say, "What's wrong? Lost your appetite?"
Oh,
Gosh,
oh.
that was worse than the idea of killing him.
okay. He looks to you, and he says, "How dare you speak to me in this manner? Guards!" He steps outside. Guards! We have an unruly slave! He's in the doorway, and he's shouting for guards, and he's pointing into the little shop, and you can see two mechanical men start clunking up the street. And he says, yes, whatever that little thing is over there. Because even though you're a gnome, but you're also like all skin.
Charred.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness
Charred
going on with
and
whatever
charred.
you got going on right now. But anyway, he says, he spoke back to me. Yes, he spoke back to me. That's all. Take him to the slaughter fields. And they come in, and they got large halberds, and
Does he get a chance to respond
and
before
he-
they walk in?
he can at this point.
I think he's just being polite and waiting for you. Then
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
okay.
You're just sitting there waiting.
Well, you're describing things, so.
I'm gonna keep describing until you butt in. Is basically how it goes.
So at this point, I reach in and I pay my deal. And I
so
go over.
polite.
I take his food and kind of grab some of it because he's not eating it.
Mhm.
And then at that point, I'm going to use my deal to just go incorporeal and go off in a direction that they wouldn't be able to see me because I go through a wall.
Okay, so you grab his food and then zip through the wall.
Yep.
Does the food go incorporeal too?
This is what that's
Anything I'm holding.
Anything he's holding.
Dang it! That would have been an excellent comedic moment.
And so at that point, I go
Should've
and just
thrown it at him.
go off in a direction,
Yep.
go through a couple alleyways to
Okay, roll a stealth, and then also remember to mark off one of your uses of that.
Yep.
Because as you do that, you never become as
Oh, I know.
corporeal as
13.
13.
So he has like a set amount of like
Yes.
so he's like chipping away at it.
He's chipping away every time he does that at his life force.
Yeah.
But it's also super cool.
YOLO! YOLO!
Okay.
And I paid for
Nah,
my
he's lived
food.
twice.
All right, that's true.
Okay.
How many marks do you have on there?
I am down to 12.
Okay.
I started with 15.
Lot.
You only live twice.
12 times.
Oh.
You only go.
You'll
sorry.
watch.
You're lost.
So okay, so we'll get back to you because that's not going to be the end of that. Okay. So you walk over to the hospital, and did you have a name for this hospital that you helped find?
Landers. So
Hospital of Holy Healing Light. He doesn't
Just
speak
amazing
so
at
good, he doesn't
names.
name things very well.
would it be too late to call it the Mayo Clinic?
It's the ketchup clinic.
I can't let you do that. I work there, so
Let
like
me
we can't.
come up with the hospital name really quick.
Did you call it Johns Hopkins?
I will allow that.
It's just randomly called Olmsted County for no good reason.
I see. I can't let you call it because of Mayo Clinic because what it actually is now.
It is
She wanted to the slaughter fields, didn't she?
Silver Birch General Hospital.
Silver Birch General Hospital.
Yes.
And now it says Silver Birch General Rehab Clinic.
Okay. At least people are getting rehabilitated.
So you go
From
in.
what to what?
So you're like,
You're gonna find
that's
out.
weird. So it's this stone building with two kind of like wings, kind of like it's in Y shape, kind of coming out the back. And you go in, and there's basically a little nun kind of working triage and whatnot, and the nun is
It seems awful charitable for elves.
is a dwarf.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you look around and it's like it's one of those, excuse me, what you expect a meth clinic to actually be like.
Oh.
There's all these people strung out in the lobby and whatnot, and the like going through kind of the nun is going through and kind of assessing the situation. She looks up and she says, "Oh, you look healthy as much as you could. You don't need to be here."
I was actually checking to see if I had some spell that could cure any of these people.
Would be lesser restoration.
Remove curse.
Is it a curse?
Addiction.
I'll say.
Just get about before we get real
I'll
deep.
say. I actually want it in my own words. We want to volunteer. To volunteer.
She says, "Well, I don't know if I can trust you.
What race is she?
You're not
What gal she's talking to?
dwarf.
Okay.
She says, are you visibly a member of the faith, the Lathander faith?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the holy symbol?"
Yep, I've like got the amulet.
So okay. So she says, yes, please come in. She says, I can see that you're a member of the Lathander faith. It's great to have you here. There's a lot of work that can be done.
A lot of bloodletting that needs to happen, apparently. Is what
Yeah.
they
Bunch of
expect
leeches.
of you. Right? I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
that what they think when they think Lathander?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. So.
Yay!
Grab a knife and start cutting.
Oh, my.
Anyways, so you go in and you start learning about kind of like what happens here at this rehab center,
Mhm.
not the hospital anymore.
Yeah.
There are what used to be kind of like rooms in the hospital rooms in the back. One wing is turned completely into like a psychiatry ward with locked cells and padded rooms. And she says those are the ones that have that have completely weaned off of the dust. And she says, and then she says, over here on this other wing, this is where we administer the
Methadone.
yeah, to kind of help it along. And she says, if there's a lot that you could do, when you can kind of just choose your poison on what she lists off tons of things that you could potentially do. You could help administer some of the not cure, but the methadone. Yeah, we'll call that. But it's and then she says, well, you can go and ask for donations, both in gold and blood, and she says there's a few people that just need to be brought down to the slaughter fields because they need to be let go. And that kind of goes into that
So I could
list.
do whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will choose to. So basically, go where I'm needed the most.
So you go where you're needed the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope that it's.
Not-
I don't want to.
Not corpse hauling.
Yeah, I don't
So what they need the most help with is pinning down people in the psychiatric ward to get manacles on them to be brought down to the slaughter fields.
Yay. So
Wow.
well,
And you're looking at let me describe what the patients are.
mhm.
The patients are all form and manner, ranging from halflings and gnomes and humans, a few dwarves, and there's even a few elves here. They're all strung up, and in various. So it's like a big mixture of the races. A bunch of them have the slave colors on them as well, and yeah, so it's just like a big mixture of people.
But so like to go chain people, like get chains on people is the emptiest space. So just me and patients.
Emptiest space.
Not emptiest space, but like the most like where there's less supervision.
Less supervision. She's well, that would be because you would need help.
Yeah.
So it would be multiple people pitting this one person down.
I would need help. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like a.
Yeah, because they're psychotic, right? So she said to do if you wanted to be by yourself, you're thinking about any of those other things you could do by yourself.
Okay. So I'll go do the part where I go and I'll kind of float between administering like Narcan and.
So the methadone thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about that for a second.
Yes.
When you say that I'll administer some of the relief to the patients.
Mm-hmm.
She gives you a tray with a little vials and then a little red beads inside these vials, and she said, and there's a little mortar and pestle
Mm-hmm.
on the side, and she says, "Here you go," and she hands that to you, and she says, "Grind that up, make them snort it."
Does your character know where round versions of those gems come from?
That's right.
I don't know if he does.
Did
You were the only one that learned that.
Did you share
Right?
that with
I
us?
would have shared that.
What happened? What's going on?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So
lost.
So you know how the mushroom people were absorbing blood?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's them.
No.
it's blood.
It's
It's
it's distilled
it's
people.
distilled people.
Soylent
Magic.
Soylent Red.
Soylent Red. Okay.
So like the
You can-
slaughter fields.
Yeah, you can distill down the blood of beings.
So they basically dehydrate it into a pill that is supposed
So the story goes is there's magic within the blood of people.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening at the church, right? That was what happening with the mushroom people in the beginning. And here, this is where you finally learn that that's truly what's happening. Is the down at the slaughter fields when people die, they go and they get ground up and they get turned into these little beads.
That she just got handed.
people
Yeah.
That she just got handed.
Just
So
handed
you just
some of
got handed the remains,
of
But she didn't know
people.
and you're told to
She
grind
does.
it up
to make them snort it.
and to have them snort it.
And go
Because
get my credit card.
it is a less pure version of what's in his chest.
So potentially less potent then?
All right. So I guess I'll accept
Angel
and
dust light.
get to work.
People are technically already
Great
ground up.
value.
So it's not their fault anymore.
Yeah.
That's a philosophical, ethical debate that we don't
I'm just
need
giving
to necessarily.
Gideon's stance on it.
Yeah.
Gideon's not there.
I know.
Okay, so you got
If
handed
Gideon
this
was,
tray,
I have to think this through.
like,
you know?
and there's like 8 vials on there with the mortar and pestle. And so you got to determine what you're going to do with that.
All right. Yeah.
You
so,
know the story of these beads, so you get
So,
handed that.
so
and
I'm
you
like, I probably have like a
Conflict
semi,
crack.
trying to hide a semi disgusted look. I'm like, see, see, I go now.
Yep. So there are patients that are in rooms in the left wing. The right wing is the psychiatry ward.
Mhm.
So you can go into one of the rooms, set the tray down on the table, and there's a young female human that is strapped with other straps down to a bed. And she twitches every once in a while. This is Nate's future, by the way.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of why I chose it.
You have pocket ones.
So
This is what happens if you don't keep up that addiction.
So I'll
Just got praise for brain
go
restoration.
and sit down and start getting to work. I'll introduce myself to her.
Mhm. You introduce yourself as Abbott.
I could choose a different name.
What name would Abbott
What
choose?
do I have to lose? Yes,
Taba.
Abbott.
She starts screaming, and she says she's screaming and she's moving and she's like,
Hey,
Jesus.
Sorry.
No, you just told him.
and she says,
No, she just told him that he's
"I'm not
your
going to the
Antichrist.
slaughter
Oh,
fields. No."
Be like, shh. Oh, thank you. No, me no do that.
I.
Me swear. Like, right hand.
Yep.
Like, right hand, like,
Okay, so you hear that she's screaming and what? Nobody comes, right?
Psychiatric ward.
It's just kind of normal, actually. You kind of feel that like this is not unusual. You hear some other screaming, especially from the psychiatric ward. There was a lot of screaming happening down that aisle.
Yeah.
So it's this is not unusual. Nobody comes. It seems like there was only like 2 or 3 people that actually worked here in this little hospital. So what else do you do then? Like, you introduce yourself, she responds negatively, but not necessarily at your introduction. It's
Just
kind of
negatively at
in
someone
general.
being there.
Yeah.
I'll try my hardest to keep calming her down and say, like, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Help you.
He just did a Jar Jar Binks thing.
Misa here to help us.
Well, you said Mayan, like, because he says that for the Mayan. Instead of me.
So yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, and then I'll start.
Okay.
Like, the administered dose is one of those things, right?
Yeah. So you grind one up and
one bead or like one vial?
well, there's 1 bead per vial.
Okay.
So yeah. So you grind that up. You kind of. She's not gonna snort it, so you take it and probably rub it up in her gums, right?
Why wouldn't she take it? I mean, if it would.
Because
she's
Strapped to a bed.
she's strapped to a bed and she's convulsing.
There's no way to, like, sit her up and.
Not
Is there
without
a spell that I have that I can help with this?
Calm emotions.
I think
Hold
I do
person.
have calm emotions.
mage hands.
There's a ton of different options here, actually. Super dark.
Not what I wanted. Yeah, I have calm emotions.
You calm her down.
Yeah.
So you're able to calm her down. So you think that at that point maybe you could
Get
her
it
to
without touching her gums.
Yeah. So you get there, and then this is the first time. This is the second person of the group that's seen this. As she gets a kind of a red light kind of comes from her eyes and comes out of her nostrils, comes out of her mouth after she takes this substance in. Yours was blue. But you were not snorting people, so.
Oops.
Yeah. Got the good stuff.
Yep. So, and then you can see that that she relaxes quite a bit, and she becomes more coherent. No longer, doesn't scream. She looks to you, and she looks like she's kind of come to, so to speak, come out of whatever funk she was in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
would this be considered a condition to, like, and once cured, then she would no longer need to take this stuff?
So you're asking about lesser restoration. So
Actually, no,
you can try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it. So she's calmed down.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start asking her a few questions.
Okay.
Seeing if she's receptive to.
She's a lot more open. She's a little lucid. That kind of comes with the drug,
Yeah.
right? But she's
I'm gonna ask her how long she's been addicted to this stuff.
She says, I don't know, what year is it?
Whatever year it is. Like
321.
Oh, kind of shrugs. I don't
She says
really
2
know.
years.
2 years.
Been
And
a blur since the 60s.
where do you get this stuff?
She says,
Her master.
the black market.
Hmm.
Is there actually a place here called Black Market? Or is it like the...
Abbott's gonna be
That's a really good question, Abbott. I love
like a
that you
Black
asked it.
Market?
So, is
Just
that
walks
next
down the
to
street
the
looking for
murder
the
mark
sign.
or
Black
the...
market.
Oh, she says, no, it's the underground.
Underground? Can you tell me how to get there? And he's saying this on his own words, like...
Yeah, in
in Abbott's way.
She starts giving you directions, but then she gets lost, like 2 or 3 times in her directions. Like take a left, take a right. No,
Mm-hmm.
no.
And she has
go
to
straight.
back herself up.
Then she has to back herself up, and then roll a wisdom check. You're pretty good at those, 'cause, you know, cleric.
Yes.
12?
So
Pretty good at those.
So this is
Well,
you. This is you trying to piece it all together, basically, of where she's saying, and when she's backing up, and then she's saying some directions twice, and
So
then
just
and
following,
maybe
and then...
yeah, I'm just trying to follow along how to get there, and you think you have the general idea, and then she mentions actually going underneath the city, and there's a point there.
Okay.
I'm excited. We're gonna go underground.
If you... I'll ask
Out
her...
of civilization.
What would you do if you were cured of this completely?
I would run away.
From here?
Yeah. What?
Nothing. No. I'm not there. I can't.
I'll try it. I'll try lesser restoration.
Okay.
On her. It says
Okay.
one disease or condition.
All right. So lesser restoration will give her a save on it.
A save on it?
Greater restoration will completely remove it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll a save for her and see if she does well. Actually, I'm gonna let you roll the save. You guys can use your inspirations if you want. You guys haven't even turned in
We
anything.
haven't turned in any.
Well, I guess I have a bunch of other towers around in the city.
I don't know if this
Of course
would
there
even...
are.
Well, can I
Oh
turn
yeah,
one in?
that's a city.
Well, it kind of looked like a religious
That's a
city,
city.
you know, like it seemed like a foreign city. I didn't.
Well, yeah.
Abbott is touching a person.
Also, I don't...
That's a stretch.
Having a hard
What?
time figuring this out.
I'm gonna say that's a stretch. You need to figure that one out.
They got lucid, so they kind of woke up.
What is this? Oh yeah, that is.
That is the little.
I'll take that.
Mortar and pestle on the little tray.
Touching a person.
There you go.
Okay. I think I might have got it.
Lay on hands.
That
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
Enough easy when it's those.
I know. We're not getting there yet.
She does have a.
I think, would this be a stretch to call it the tray with the doodads on it?
Mortar and pestle.
The mortar, pestle,
No,
pestle?
no, because that's totally a tray. That was too much of a stretch. It was just a
It's
hand,
a handprint.
and I'm like,
well, is less
She
No, it's fine.
you will find
I'll
a use
find
for
it.
that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
She high fives the patient.
It's touch, verbal, and somatic.
Okay.
Alright, so...
Well, it's
What am I? Constitution?
No, it's gonna be hers.
Or
So
her.
just tell me what.
See, she's a dwarf, isn't she? No, she's not.
She's the
Just the
human.
number.
Which
Just tell me the number.
I rolled a 9.
Oh.
But I have modifiers too.
You can use your inspiration if you want.
I'm guessing that it's not gonna...
I don't think it would.
So we're doing this tonight. We're gonna cure her!
Here comes one hard relapse.
All right. So you know that you suppressed her symptoms, maybe even for a couple of weeks.
She's been in it for too many years.
Right.
now, huh?
But
Mhm.
yeah, she's too into the drug to completely cure. It's one of those things where meth and heroin are really hard to quit.
Yeah.
And this is basically that in this world. So, yeah, you know
Meth
that.
and heroin combined?
Yeah,
Yeah, heroamphetamine.
yeah. No, I'm just saying that those two drugs in real life are that bad.
Oh, yeah.
And so you know that you suppressed her symptoms, and maybe even for a couple of weeks. She's going to be living a normal life for a little while, but eventually she's gonna slowly teeter back into.
You just have to visit her and
Say,
you know
well,
just keep
if you let her go and she runs away,
touching her.
2 weeks to travel away.
Then she.
Well, then she goes crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true, but you don't know that. Does she know that?
She knows she can as a healer can sense
Everything
that
you just said. She knows.
she knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know that there was a chance, and you also know that there's more powerful magic out there that will completely undo this.
Yeah.
You just need to get to them.
So I'll just tell her that, like, I'll let her, like, unhook her and everything and get her untied, and I'll tell her couldn't hold it back forever.
Mm-hmm.
But you have some time.
She is very thankful, and she says, "I'm gonna run so far away. I don't know where, but hopefully they'll let me leave. I'll have to sneak over the wall. Thank you." And we're gonna skip to these two.
Yeah.
Hi.
So, Emily and Jeff, or
Yeah.
should I say Mississippi Trill and Gideon?
No last name.
Huh?
Gideon, no last name.
If he has one, he either forgot it or doesn't carry it.
It's like Cher or Bono.
Exactly.
Prince.
That was exactly when I built the character. That was my whole idea.
Okay.
He
grew to that point where
he had a last name at one point, but he doesn't need it anymore.
That's fine.
So
it looks like he does now, though.
fine.
He's reconsidering the last name.
So
it's George.
you guys are walking through the streets, and
First name George.
you duck away from the group.
Yeah.
And then you're heading off to. You're going to the slums.
I tell her that my idea was
I like his idea, so I'm gonna go with him.
let's have the slums. Let's just see.
And I will tell you my idea of going underground.
Yeah. What's your idea? Yeah. What is that idea?
Okay, so the city is built on the ruins of an ancient city.
Yeah.
And I want to see. So back when I was. Yeah. I did my undergrad thesis on this city underneath Redmere.
Cool.
Thank you, Liz.
And
Well, there used to be this really rad club that had like a secret entrance into this place. You know, it was like, it was one of those places where it looked like whatever.
Like a speakeasy.
Like it was, or it looked like just a closet, like a shed.
Yeah.
And then like it ducked down and went into this thing.
So I know that there's a bunch
I
of
say that was
ruins
there?
and like caverns and passages underneath the city, or at least there were 300 years
and
ago.
you been into a couple of them, and work was being done 300 years ago to uncover more of the city, because there were basically over the years there were collapses.
And they tried to build things and sink foundations, and they find stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, this was a thing."
So you've been into small parts, but there is supposedly a big, vast city.
And I've read all the research on it that was 300 years ago, which was some. So I want to see what happened under there, like if they filled it all in or if they kept exploring. And I mean, with a city like this, who lives underneath?
Hopefully, I'm just kind of curious if these guys really just have everything under control, or if there's anyone causing trouble. Because right now, that kind of sounds like fun.
Causing a little trouble.
Throwing a little chaos.
So you're going to the slums then.
Yep.
So you're going outside the city, and basically outside when you get to the stone wall that separates the inner city from the outer city, there is a checkpoint there with 2 elvish guards.
Are they the same guards that were here when we entered the city?
No.
Let's
At
go to
least
that one then.
you can't tell.
They might have had.
Well, they're an armor.
I mean, and all elves look the same to you.
Wow!
These
I
are
like
all.
to might think of myself as cultured.
You think that, okay, yeah, but you've never seen elves with black skin and gray hair, and so it's all new to you, and you can't tell the one from the other yet. You're still
Working on it.
It's a work in progress to see those subtle nose bridge differences and, and brow heights and
It's like saying all the Klingons look the same.
yeah, all the Klingons look the same except for like 2. Gowron was pretty unique.
It's like they use the same mold for all of the prosthetics.
I think the ridges are different.
Yeah, the ridges are different.
Okay. Alright.
But yeah, Gowron did look really funny.
You think they get in the way of us leading?
Do they?
So-
no, I'm asking
will-
you that
I
before
will-
we step forward.
I-
I'm just saying, I don't even think.
We're not wearing collars.
I will tell you, since you have a better charisma than me, you're better at talking to people than me. You should, as we walk towards the gate, not like before we get to the checkpoint, we should have some story about how our master is sending us out for an errand. And maybe you can produce some sort of sigil or...
To the slums?
Well, I mean, we'll say to the guards that we're heading out of the city on an errand for our master. We'll see if that works. It's probably not going to.
Yeah, Gideon doesn't like this idea.
Okay, what's your idea?
I don't have one.
Great. Okay.
Well,
Well, then we could just say that we're gonna go. I don't know. Are there? How does? Well, we don't know. We have no idea. We have no way of knowing how the slave trade works here. Like, do people just trade slaves like Pokemon cards?
Can you sell yourself as a slave? Just by yourself? I wonder.
When a slave.
collar.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to
know what
answer
the
that
collars
question.
do. We just know
Yeah.
it would make a mess.
well, I mean,
What's our plan?
I was thinking. I mean, when in
Or do you
doubt.
want to try and climb the wall?
I mean, do we?
It's
does
the
it
middle
look
of
like
the
there's
day.
a spot that like we could climb over? I mean, is there anything looking?
So your other idea, there are probably a couple entrances. Most of the entrances, the underground,
Are gonna be in the city
are going to be
proper.
in the city proper.
Yeah.
None of them will really be in the slums.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple new ones, right? But the ones you know about, or the general location of them,
Are gonna be in the city.
are going to be in the city proper. So your idea doesn't require you to go
Right.
out there.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
But my idea is tying into I have this gut feeling and this hope. It's more of a hope than it is a gut feeling. It's a hope that maybe in the underground there will be an underground movement.
So it comes with a second thought: is there's an underground city here?
Yeah.
There's a potential for movement
To the slums.
to the slums without having to go through the gate.
I will share my thoughts.
No,
And I'm just kinda
that works for me.
Just
Yeah.
kind of
My plan was
Yeah.
to just walk forward and see if they did anything, because just be like, dooby.
So
going to the
I'll just
slums.
recap
Hey,
what it-
stop there, Charm.
I'll just recap kind of like what it was like when you guys came in.
Please do, because I don't.
They only ignored you because they acknowledged Nate.
Okay. Well, let's go look for.
Nate is your free pass, or Elrindel, I mean, is your free pass
You
around
don't
the
happen
city.
to have disguise self, do you? Can't make yourself look like Elrindel.
Nope.
You probably can't be seen walking ahead of him, right? If you're all going together, then you gotta probably be subservient.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is there anyone about to leave that we could like pretend like? is there an
Join
elf
their
about
little
to
train.
leave that we could just kind of walk closely behind with our heads down, looking really sad? No, we can do that idea. He's fine with that. He's looking at the thing going like, I don't know how we were going to get out. I can't imagine they'd be like
The gates are not quiet. They are getting used. So every few minutes or so, there is somebody walking through the gates.
Sure.
Mostly it's just elves, but occasionally there is an elf with a slave or two.
Sure.
But
they all have collars on.
Yes.
As we are walking to the gate, so before we've gotten to where we are here, I would be keeping an eye out for any sort of like hobo signs or symbols in Thieves' Cant, like hidden in corners of buildings. I don't know. Maybe there's. I don't know.
Maybe the language survived.
Maybe the language survived.
Roll a perception.
Oh yeah, Thieves' Cant's the one universal language that that doesn't change, man.
Yeah, it's just between
Why would that change?
shady folks.
Thieves Cant changed all the time.
Well, she might not be up on the
that
lingo,
is
but she
a
might recognize
15.
it. She might be able to recognize it.
I feel like they're like
you don't see
base
any like secret markings
Okay.
on the stone around anywhere in the immediate
Chalk
vicinity.
signs or
Nothing like
anything.
that. No.
It's worth a shot.
The ones left are radish on a garbage can to say that this house is ready to be robbed.
Wow. That's a good idea.
Well, I mean, Gideon. Before we make any decisions, let's go see what's. If you know where one of these spots are, I mean,
I will
it's
find-
better than getting arrested right now. I'm not really interested in that. So
Yeah, not
Arrested
here.
means you'll go to trial. I don't think that's gonna
Arrested
happen.
might just mean we go straight to the slaughter fields, and I really don't want that to happen.
let's do your idea.
Okay, we're
Okay.
gonna. I'll find the closest entrance to the underground that I am familiar with.
Okay. So roll a wisdom check.
Oh,
This is your memory.
a wisdom check.
Because the city is slightly different.
Can I aid her in that? Would I
Thank you.
be able to? I know the city too.
Yeah, you're trying to help her recall basically the layout of the city.
Modified 20.
I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, of course you will.
Yeah, so you kind of remember where you're at in the city, and you're like, okay, well, that building is different.
Was that me helping her, or was that him spending his?
That was me cashing in an inspiration.
Yeah, but I was convincing him to get a help, which would have given her advantage.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Okay, so it's not your fault.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
you're
Still take
helping
credit.
her with the layout of the city, and you know the city. You know
Absolutely.
the city pretty well, and you're like, no. That alley was always there. That means
Oh,
2
but
blocks
this building
over.
is new.
Yeah,
This
between
one's
the two of
old.
us, we
Yeah,
probably
you can
figure the place out
probably
pretty
figure out.
Alright,
And so,
modified 20.
yeah, so you duck through a small alleyway, go a couple blocks over, and then you see that there's this kind of little metal hut that's been situated, and you believe that inside that hut is a stairway kind of going down to the dig site. Before it wasn't that hut itself wasn't there. There was a bigger wood building there. Looks like that has been since replaced. But you believe that in there should be a stairway that would be new in 300 years ago that led down into which was one point a dig site, uncovering a bunch of the ancient artifacts of old.
Are there guards?
You don't see any guards, no. But you do see that there is a big padlock.
As if a lock would ever stop a rogue.
I thought you weren't that kind of rogue, though.
I am still proficient
Oh yeah, you still get sleight of hand stuff.
in thieves' tools.
Yeah. Because I remember asking you to do a thing once. You're like, I'm not that kind of rogue. I'm like, oh.
But I can do it.
Selectively.
So she admitted to taking that elective.
I did take that a lot. Because sometimes
Ruins
have...
got the things that need to do the things.
Uncovering
things.
artifacts requires a steady hand and a set
Absolutely.
of unique tools.
There we go.
I'm gonna inspire you.
I want to see someone pick
Okay,
a lock
what
with
is that, an
with a
8?
brush.
Mhm.
With a toothbrush.
All right, so you walk up to you're on a street, and you do see there's a few people kind of walking here and walking by.
I will put an
Uh,
inspiration on you, and then I'll go to the opposite corner.
Unlucky for you, you hear a clump of metal on stone as one of those metallic men are walking down the street.
I'm going to. So is this small metal building? Is it like standalone, or are there buildings?
Standalone. Yep.
So I can walk. I could potentially walk all the way around.
Yes.
What are the surroundings? Other buildings?
So
Vegetation?
this is on a corner of a block.
Okay.
So you got streets on two sides. One's actually an alleyway.
Okay.
On one side, and then the door is positioned in to the street.
Okay.
There's a small courtyard kitty corner back because there's row houses out on the other side of it. We're back from some technical difficulties, and we took our break. And Jeff was talking about a song that Gideon was going to sing.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I would definitely not say anything against elves in any sense of the word.
Just one specific.
I don't know. That might still be a punishable offense.
So,
Okay.
It's just going to be a goofy song.
Roll a performance for me.
Okay, I can do those. No, I can't. Are you kidding me?
I was gonna say, I'm not giving you my inspiration.
Freaking natural one.
Okay, you
You
use your
go to
inspiration to
dice.
re-roll.
Dice. That one is going to be natural, not natural 20 and non-natural 20.
Okay. So you're singing the song, and a small crowd is starting to gather. And as you're singing, you do hear some whispers, and it's like some people are saying, "I can't believe humans could sing this well. I thought they were all complete scum." and the other one says, but even so, my blood is boiling. I just want to slit his throat.
Are these elves that are saying
They're
this?
elves that are saying
Oh,
that.
incredible.
He just wants to slit my throat. I hear this.
Yeah.
They're not even like trying to hide it
Well,
from
they're
me.
whispers, but you can hear it.
Do you whisper in front of the dog?
So yeah, this is the thing. That's good. We're gonna
You
go
are
with that.
too good at this.
Yeah.
No, it's
You should be sitting in this place, Nate. But
My goodness.
that's exactly it. You are a lesser being. They don't care what you think.
Do they listen to me for a minute?
They are listening to you.
Okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
there's a few other, and their slaves are.
The ones who are scary can definitely
one of
throw
them
a
has
wisdom saving throw.
one of them has another human, green skin, slick back hair. He kicks his foot under, and then he kind of leans back and forms like a chair, and he sits down on the
This place
human.
is disgusting. Is that enough of a distraction for me to sneakily undo this lock? Well,
Yeah,
first of all,
roll stealth.
is okay.
If they get actually, because I have this enthralling performance thing,
Yep.
where I can make them friendly to me.
Yep.
So if they get to that point, please roll that.
Okay.
Is this distraction enough for me to have advantage on my stealth roll?
They have disadvantage on their perceptions.
Okay. Well,
Every time someone starts to turn their head towards, I go, hey, and I like emphasize a note, and
I'm gonna
Don't
attempt,
Don't do too well,
a
or they're gonna start
13.
bidding on you.
and I'm
You fetch it her first.
I'm sneaking over, and I'm just trying to be surreptitious and just kind of like doing the.
Yeah, but every time, like, so what's going on is you're picking the lock, but every time somebody says something really mean about Gideon, right? You snicker.
Wait, no, hang on now. Doesn't she get to decide that?
Do you snicker? Like, what is your tell? There's something about you that's not quite as stealthy as normal. I like to.
I pause, every time that happens, I pause and I'm like, I make eye contact with him, and I'm just like, I don't make a noise, but I make a face.
Okay, but after a second, roll your pick lock.
Okay. 23.
Yeah. So after just a few moments, you have your pick in there. You feel the tumblers. Pretty easy. Click, click, click. You got it. You unhook the padlock. You open the door and peek in, and you can see the stone steps leading down.
And I don't see any creature
No,
or
and it's
construct.
complete black in there.
Okay. Okay. I will attempt to make a bird noise at Gideon.
Roll a performance.
Okay.
Bird person.
You want to make a prairie bird noise?
You know what? That's the most recent bird I've seen, so yeah, probably. Okay, I
It's
have
more
plus-
like a
plus
screeching
0
roar.
to the-
Sure.
Like, "Rah!"
Well, I mean, I'll finish the song.
That's a 4.
I'll finish the song.
So she's making.
So she. Okay.
Burning this.
I will shut the door behind me.
Can you
And lean
humor
against-
me for a second?
Yeah.
And just make a bird noise real quick. That's her 4.
Okay. That's awful.
Oh, you're-
Hilarious. What is it?
It's a
bird claw.
it's a bird.
Oh, it's a bird claw. Nice.
All right.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And I'm trying to. So how this happens, I open the lock, I open the door, I peek in, I shut the door, I lean against the wall, and I...
So you can charm up to 3 of these big things, right? And it's
equal to my charisma modifier, which is 4.
4. And they only get the charm condition, right?
Yeah, they speak glowingly of me.
Yeah.
And but
You
if they
have advantage.
succeed,
You have it. Yeah.
Man, that
if they
human is
succeed,
probably
there's
the best
no
human
hint
we've
that
ever
I
seen.
tried to
Yeah.
charm
He's
it.
still utter garbage.
So
But he's like top tier
these
garbage.
are
He'd make a really
He's
very
like-
distilled
resistant
gem.
to your charm.
He's like
Well, they're elves.
he's like a fully
right?
wrapped, slightly expired
Gideon
Snickers
would
bar
know
on top of the
this because
dumpster.
there were elves before,
Right.
and elves were particularly hard to charm and larm along.
Well,
right?
they could be different. They're different now, right? But
I
either
think
way.
he would assume, but it's
so,
like you might as well try.
2 of them.
He got a very lucrative deal once. He didn't think he was going to manage it, but he managed to charm an elf once. He knew it was a long shot, but it worked.
2 of them stopped saying their negative things about you.
It's practically a compliment.
High praise.
Cool.
In fact, they just shut up all completely.
Yeah.
All right. So
They're
you,
like-
you
I
slip
feel like-
inside.
Do they? Sorry, can we for just a moment take a peek in their heads right now for just a second?
Yeah.
Could you? I mean, like, because what's going on in their heads? Suddenly, right? The norm has changed for them.
So yeah, but it's like, well, I guess this guy's not. I guess this human is actually kind of good at this.
Okay. All right. I was just curious at what
So I
level.
kind of like him.
Am I gonna
I
be able
wonder
to
who
walk?
his master is and how much he wants for him.
Yeah,
Is it that kind of thinking?
Yeah,
One
probably.
of them's gonna pat you on the head and say, "Good boy."
Yeah. Because it doesn't change their demeanor.
Sure.
It just
Or-
changes the way they think about you,
Yeah.
not humans as a whole.
Then that's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I just was very curious.
Small victory on hearts and minds.
Something. Or just not dying by drawing attention to myself.
So you slip in,
Mhm.
and there's this staircase leading down, and it descends into darkness.
I'm gonna wait for Gideon.
You're gonna wait for Gideon. Now Gideon.
I'll hang about. And I'll kind of
So how do you end your song?
with sparks and a flare
Mhm.
and
Have we seen other slaves use magic?
Nope. Anyways, go on.
yeah, just with my typical. I mean, I'm gonna do what I always do. This is muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
the-
thinking.
So the
No, you're not.
you're sitting there and you end your song and most of the crowd just starts to disperse, but two of the elves, they come up and they each throw you a gold coin at your feet. It says, "You're not half bad for a human." And that's one of them says that. The other one says, "Yeah. In fact, you're not as ugly as some of the most of them around here either."
I say, thank you, masters. You're too kind to such a lowly slave like myself.
Anyways, so the crowd disperses.
And then I go I'm gonna like kind of probably actually follow closer behind the ones that are actually friendly towards me. Because I know it lasts for a little while.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna kind of stay close to them.
Mhm.
Just kind of head their direction and then eventually double back.
Okay.
Wait for a quiet moment. Slip it.
Just roll a quick stealth for me to see if you get.
You get a chance to redeem yourself. Thank you. Yes, that will be
Yeah.
a
So
non-natural.
10 minutes later, Gideon finally slips in the door. It takes a while for him to like lose the crowd.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But it's, I mean,
Just
we're
sitting
gonna
in the dark. I'm
No.
not in a crowd of people, and
We're
I'm
gonna-
happy about that.
hop over into what's happening with.
Yes, I'm
Valor.
so very much wanting to see what happens next with his 13 stealth. Right? Is that what you're?
So yeah, so this is it. There were two mechanical men that were just outside the restaurant, and the elf that's wanting you to be arrested and then brought down to the slaughter fields. And you are you phase into the back alley, but normal you in this difficult phasing thing, you like phase half into a trash can and knock it over, and you start to run down the alley, but then you see these two mechanical men kind of around the corner, and
they're humanoid figures.
Yep. And I assume that you just start to run down the alley, right? Is that
So, first of all, did they actually spot me when I came out the back?
yeah? They heard you, and so they ran around the corner or came around the corner at that point. Yeah.
So, I would not want to draw attention to myself. So, what I would at this point do is I still would be. So, if like here is the alleyway, I would come out here. They're like over here originally, and had the 13 for the stealth. So at this point, I would just kind of duck around another corner and just kind of act nonchalant, you know. And
Okay. Yeah. So you duck around the corner and you catch a glimpse of what is happening with those mechanical men, and you can see that their gears and their arms start to shift as they kind of like their arms kind of like shift up, and then they get down to all fours and they start leaping down the alley towards you.
okay.
They're mechanical druids.
Mechanical werewolves.
We finally have transformers.
I was thinking good hunting. From Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay, you know.
Oh my god. Okay, so they leap down the alleyway with incredible speed, and you dodge around the corner and want to blend in, and one of them bashes up against the building that's on the opposite side as it kind of leaps down. I'm thinking their movement is very much like the dogs from Ghostbusters, those things, right? Big, bulky,
yeah. Like a bulldog.
like a bulldog, and in the hallway with Louis Tully when the one was like just completely just running into the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Their movement is very much like that, just kind of
That's intense, man.
cumbersome and big and beefy. They're made out of metal, so they're like they really have a hard time stopping their momentum and just slam into things. And anyways, then as they get around the corner. The one bashes into the other one, and they pivot towards your direction. One of them you can see takes inhales a big whiff of the air, and then you can see like little plumes of black acrid smoke kind of comes out the back of its head, and begins to lumber in your direction.
Does he have a look on like he's coming straight for me, or just my direction?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes to both.
Okay. So, this point, I'm going to.
Could have just gone to the theater.
Well, and they drop their halberds, by the way. They can't run like this and carry those.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Hand-to-hand combat.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do first here at this point is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dash and then spend a key to do my Step of the Wind, which allows me to dash as a bonus action. So I'm basically going to do that and basically just book it. And if there's like spots where I can take a turn here or there, I'll do that to try and throw them off.
Right. So you're gonna end up having to do this for multiple rounds to lose them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have you roll a Constitution check for your endurance while running away from these things.
I'm going to use my inspiration. 10 on the first one.
Okay.
So, not good.
You like dash around a building, and you're really quick, like really fast. These things, they do have great speed to them, but you are slowly losing them. But you're only gaining a few feet every round or so, right? Eventually, you get to a point where you're winded. You need to catch your breath, right?
Well, it's too
and
bad.
then you hear like a crunching sound as you look back, and you can see that one of them has climbed the building and is kind of perched itself on top of this roof, and it's looking down towards you. And because you had to catch your breath, you're still within range of one of them. You don't know where the other one went.
Right.
You think you outran the one, but this one, it's on the other side of the street, up on a roof, and it has sight on you.
Alright. So I'm going to do the same thing again. So that's going to use up one key, so it's 2 dashes then.
Yep.
Alright.
So you're just going to continue to outrun them.
Yes.
Okay. Roll another Constitution check.
Actually, I'm going to use you. I feel like. Oh, still better than last time. This time it is going to be a 11.
Okay.
That was the number to beat.
Well, it had to be it.
Oh, sure.
And this time you are running down the street through the alleys. You're just going as fast as you can. You're pushing yourself physically. And there's a lot of, as you're kind of going through, there's a few people kind of pointing at you like, what is this slave doing? You know, why is it running free, whatever. But after 10 minutes of running, you look around and you don't think you see any of these mechanical beasts anymore. But you don't know where you are in the city. You are now you're completely on the opposite end of the city. You see there's off to the north. You see there's a graveyard, and you're like, you don't remember there being a graveyard within the city grounds at all. And you're like, well, there's one there now. None of these buildings nearby look similar. You've gotten away, but you've kind of got yourself lost.
So at this point, though, just looking around, I don't see.
Yeah, you were able to take a breather,
right.
And You're
Does
like,
he still have the shawarma? The elf's shawarma.
roll a dexterity saving throw.
Just imagine he's like touching it like this.
This he
let's
rolls
see.
a natural 20 on,
No.
right?
13.
Yeah, you still have most of the shawarma.
I lost a couple.
Some pieces kind of did fly
You
off.
lost the tomato.
Yeah.
The lettuce.
At this point, since I don't see him around, I'm gonna take a moment to eat that. Regain some calories.
Yeah. A key. Like it says, +1 key appears
Yeah,
above
roll
his
a con
head.
save.
There's a reason we didn't go there for lunch.
15.
Okay, you feel your gut wrench, right? There's something about this. There's something that tastes off about this.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh, she drugged it.
And after a little bit, you run over
It was intended for the elf.
and
Oh
you
no!
vomit it up, right?
No.
And you're like, you think that was poisoned.
I would say that he is
Can I do an
pretty
insight?
confident in the fact.
You know it was poisoned.
I just like cilantro.
It could just. It didn't taste like soap.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Elrindel and Abbott. So you saw your play, Slaughterhouse Rules.
Yep.
Right. It was a the
I'll be damned, it was a love story.
Slaughterhouse Rules. It was we'll say it was a love story between an elf and its slave. Right. It was very rapey. And
PG-13, man.
it was really bad, and it ended up in a murder-suicide as the authorities kind of found out that was happening, and it's not okay.
Spoilers.
Everyone's
The
cheering
slave
at the end.
And everybody's like,
It's not a sad thing. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
kill him.
"Get that loser!"
It's like when in Airbender,
Way
when
to-
they watch their own play and everyone's cheering for all the bad stuff.
Yeah, way to break the rules. That's what you get.
It's such a great episode.
Yeah, it's the only time a recap has actually been real good.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're out of the play, and you're feeling like it told you a lot about the society nowadays, and how everything's like really twisted up, and
Do you like it? The question on everyone's mind.
the moral compass of this whole place is
Oh,
kind of upside down.
Yeah.
Compass.
Oh my god.
You got the good ones tonight.
Okay. Yeah, the moral compass of this place. Anybody else inspiration? Is way backwards, but it was an entertaining play. There was an actual murder at the end, where not the elvish actor, but the
slave.
the slave had a stand-in for the actual killing, and they actually killed it at that end of it.
So, how is are the obviously not all of the actors in the play are elves. Like, the non-elf actors, like they must be good at what they do in order to be on stage.
Trained well.
Are they treated? Like, are they wearing colors on stage?
Are they doing a Shakespeare?
The ones that are on the stage were not wearing collars. However, you could see some of them were bruised and whatnot,
Okay.
which was kind of tried to cover up with makeup, but you can still kind of make it out. You're gonna guess that their lives are still probably better than most, because they do have value. Yeah.
Big
So-
money
So,
makers.
he wasn't a fan of the play, but his justification for this is going to be, well, art's subjective.
Yes, it's art. I'm not gonna like all
Hey, man,
art.
just for the record, an addict has to lie to themselves before they can lie to everyone else. So you are really playing that part well, man. It's perfect.
Yeah. So
Step one's admitting you have a problem. If you don't have a problem, you don't have to go to rehab.
Exactly. So you have to lie to yourself first.
So, you're standing in the street, and you can see a block over where the restaurant was, and you can see that there are two mechanical, look like bulldogs, and then they shift kind of back into a humanoid
Are these
form,
his guys?
and then they pick up their halberds, and then they kind of walk around.
Well, I don't know where any of them are, so
You know that he was supposed to be at that restaurant, and then she is like 2 blocks away or so at the hospital.
Silver Birch, the General Hospital.
Silver Birch Rehab Center.
I still think, since I don't know where any of them are, the quickest, safest place to, or the safest bet, I should say, to check for them is to pass by the slaughter field and see if anyone's turned in anyone matching some descriptions.
Okay, all right.
Because I think that would be the most likely place where, you know.
So you head down to the slaughter fields to go and see if any of your companions happen to have gotten arrested that day.
It's just an extreme lost and found.
Yep. Abbott, you've been working with the patients all day, basically, right? It's to the point where you're tired, your spell slots are drained. It's been very morally draining on you. It's been emotionally draining, and you're spent, right?
So I did want to say that the lesser restoration that I cast earlier was actually part of my celestial, so it's one of my like freebies.
Okay.
But if I if I can, lesser restoration someone, I'm gonna pocket that bead.
Okay.
So it's they
so they
get
don't-
results.
yeah.
You
You get one of those blood
one of those.
beads.
I like this plan.
Okay. Do you have more lesser restorations you can cast today?
I had one. What was my freebie? And then I've got another one.
You have spell slots, right? So you just know
So
what
I've got basically 2 more
Okay.
spell slots I can use.
You get one of the beads then.
Okay, just one.
And you feel really good because you did cure somebody of the withdrawal symptoms and the
And the
the
addiction.
addiction today.
Was it a non-elf or an elf?
Race die.
Would you have tried to help heal an elf?
Is it actually a race die?
Yeah. I bought it from
I
you.
don't-
Yeah.
You would have.
So,
I would have.
we've gotten race and class die before.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Makes that the HS6.
Yeah, but you need to order more of these because these will
Yes.
sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
The answer is it was a human
Okay,
that you were able to.
that I was able to hear.
Yep.
That's good.
Didn't try that hard on the elves.
They've got their own people that take care of them. Someone's got to take
Yeah,
care of
most
the
of the elves
They're probably not going to get sent to the slaughter fields.
Yeah.
the elves are a little different how they're treated here, so they didn't need as much help as everybody else. Okay, so
This is rehab. This is not club med.
yeah, but you're mentally drained. Your spell slots drained, emotion drained. You're just exhausted, and so you're stepping out of the clinic, and it's getting late. Do you want to do anything else for the day? Is the question that I have.
I'll go stop somewhere to eat. Because I wear the garb of Lathander.
Yeah.
I'm known as a priest.
Yep.
I wouldn't be considered a slave, right? I don't have standing. I'm just a worker, basically.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
Because you don't.
Second
you
class
don't-
citizen.
You don't have.
yeah.
Yeah, you're.
You
So I'm
don't
not
look
like. So it's
anything.
like there's a ladder. There's like
Yeah,
the.
You're
slaves,
probably in the same
Yeah.
level of the dwarves and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the artisans.
Yeah.
And,
You're useful. You're not furniture.
yeah.
All right. Well, there's a shawarma place when we have Bluffway.
Yeah. there.
So yeah,
Um,
you want to you can go eat some gnomish shawarma.
Yep.
All right.
Put it in here as magical methadone. That's my equipment.
All right. So you do see, as you're kind of coming down, you do see Elrindel walking away from the theater. You kind of come down the road, and he's down the way.
It's a long play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them are a couple hours.
Yeah, it's been a few hours.
Yeah.
Um,
They had about an hour. Everyone got.
so you can either stop him or you can just go in and get your food.
I'll go like intercept him.
Okay, yeah. Abbott's behind you.
Okay.
Shouting your name probably.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like Elrindle. That's still a hard one to pronounce.
Rindle L.
Randall.
L.
Randall.
Randall.
Okay. From now on, you gotta call him Randall.
Okay, Randall. But yeah, so I'll ask. Want food?
Not there. They poison people.
How do you know that?
I was told.
By who?
You would have met her.
Oh, that one chick.
Yes.
Poison people.
Carrie Ellis.
Yes. I got to the wedding to learn her name.
I'm not gonna write her down because I'm not gonna remember.
I said the same thing for my wedding, right? Okay. Yeah, so you guys just go, you get a bite to eat, and then you relate your plans to go to the slaughter fields and try to find everybody else.
Yeah. Because I don't know where. I still don't know where.
He
I have
told
no
me
clue
where they were going, didn't he?
I did.
You said you were going to
The slums.
the slums.
So it's not next to the slaughter field, so I mean it's a 2-for-1 to go down there.
Yeah, so I'll relay that information to you.
Yeah, and you know that that's eventually where they're going, but it's gonna take you a little while to get there because you just need to find your way around.
Now you're lost.
Okay, so down to you two. You're in this metal shed, stairs leading down, and it's complete pitch black.
Can you make a light?
Yep, I can. Yep, I'll grab a torch and.
Okay.
Fortune?
I just wasn't sure what you had as far as light spells and stuff. Okay.
I don't have light spells.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. I have torches too, so yeah. We light a torch between the two of us. It doesn't take that much effort.
Yep.
How far down do the stairs go?
It goes down.
Actually, I don't have a torch.
I have
She has a
torches.
torch. So you're the torch, and it goes down, and you remember it goes down like several hundred feet.
Did we send the pack mule with Elrinda?
I think we just tied him up at the hotel and just kind of
Yeah.
left him. We hitched him somewhere. We'll find him on our way out.
Left him a bowl
Poor
of water.
guy. Okay. Sorry, continue.
He's
Oh,
at the
they
trough.
have trough. Yeah.
He's at the hitching post.
Yep.
I told him to sit and
You
stay
put
and
the
walk.
little
Blinders? Or
the,
no?
The feed bag.
the feed bag over his mouth.
We gave him a sugar cube. He's fine.
We're talking about an orc, right?
Yes.
Human.
No, for Jeff, I have to think orc.
Okay.
Yes. But
Human
anyway,
slavery
it goes several
was
hundred feet down. And it goes down quite a bit, and you can see that these stairs are worn. They have definitely seen some use since the last time you've been here. And you go down, and it opens up into kind of a small little cavern, and then there are some stone buildings that are holding up basically the ceiling here, and a little kind of street that kind of intersects between the two stone buildings, and then you can see that there's been the area beyond that, which last time you were here was completely caved in, right? Has been excavated, and the street does continue. The last time you were down here, you were able to get down here,
And we could
but
tell
you're
that
only
it was
going.
a street,
You're
but
only
we
able to
couldn't-
go into a couple buildings, and some of the buildings you kind of had to go into one to get into the other, right? But
Like going through fall.
yeah, and so but here in the time, they've continue to dig out more
Okay.
and have excavated around.
So the important question is: there anything living down here?
Okay, let's roll a perception check. So you can kind of make your way.
Both of us?
Sure. Or you can give her advantage.
I don't care. I have decent perception.
I have decent perception too.
Okay, no, I was just gonna... 12.
22.
Okay, so
I'm in front.
in the immediate entrance way down here, there is nobody, no signs of life. But as you kind of get in, you are hearing basically some movement, kind of amongst some of the buildings and whatnot. And you glance over and there's like a 2-story stone building where the top of the building kind of hits the roof of the cavern that's been carved out here. And you swear you see some movement in the window.
Okay. So I don't see any other torchlight
No.
or anything.
No.
Okay.
But you do hear some movement. You catch
Shuffling
glimpses of
and shadows.
yeah.
Okay. I continue walking forward towards that building.
Do you give any indication, or do I just?
I'm
happy to dumbly
I'm gonna,
follow.
like smack you.
But it's more like this.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna.
I'll just whisper. I'll do it again as much as possible. It's like I'll just whisper.
Okay.
What you see?
So you start walking towards the building, and because you the one that you saw movement towards, and these buildings are just the stone, the wood that would have been the shutters or the window pane. That's all long since gone. And as you get close, whoever's in there, you obviously must have spooked because they jump out of the window.
No harm!
And brandish their weapons in front of you. It is a tall man, red skin with 2 little horns and 2 scimitars in each hand. And he raises scimitars at each of you, and he says, "Who are you?"
Easy, friend. Hi,
I'm Gideon. Hi.
Mississippi.
Hi.
He says, "You come down here, but you say no password. Who are you?"
We didn't know there was a password. We're new into town.
We've never. It's.
Cheesecake. Flabberdoodle. Ground cumin. It just starts to put random words.
It's a grocery list.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm hungry too. Thinking about that shawarma, wishing I would have gone there.
Yeah, so you start just listing off different things, and you're like,
Oh, I'm holding the torch. No, just,
Yeah.
Easy.
Obviously.
We don't know the password. We didn't know there needed one. We're new to Redmere. It's been a long time since we've been to Redmere. Let's just say that last time we've been to Redmere, there wasn't all the whole slavery thing going on. So.
okay. You notice that 3 more have moved up behind you. Each of these are tieflings with gypsies actually, with the red skin, horns, tail kind of flapping around, with little poofy
Spade tail?
yeah.
Or is it like
Who
a
do we
fur?
talk to about acquiring the password? Because it sounds like Gideon's caught off guard here.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I'll just start telling her. I mean, because again, I have no reason not to lie right now. I'll just start telling them the story. Like, sorry, friend. She says like we haven't been here in a long time, and I mean, how many times have I've told this story like 3 or 4 times now. Yeah. I really am getting good at the Reader Digest version. You know?
Yeah. So you just kind of go into your full history, like the you're from 300 years ago.
And I'm
Name
looking
Gideon,
at you
and
with
I'm
kind of like a.
Name was Gideon. Does that ring any bells? And I start naming off some of the hits.
Roll persuasion.
That's 28.
You got it. It's all yours.
Yeah.
They say,
Come on, Gideon songs could have gone on with the gypsies, right? They're the only ones carrying the tunes.
yeah, and they look to you and they say, "The singer of tales.
Yeah.
You're Gideon."
I am.
Sorry, what did you call him? The singer of tales?
I found my new favorite place. Before it was the Mushroom People, now I already love these guys. Congratulations to Bob Dylan.
Yeah, you were like, you say that exactly like that. And she's like, they're like, "Yes, He's a minstrel. That's what we would call him.
I kind of wait. But the
Okay,
instrument.
so
I
it's
have
not
my-
And then you are the professor.
That's it. The Dark Prophet, singer of tales, professor. It's fine. Yes.
You're looking for us to say bad things about you. There are places that would.
Yeah, like everywhere else we've been so far.
we've only really met that.
Yeah.
Well. they kind of lower their weapons a little bit and they say, well, we are not going to harm you, but it is not good for you to be here.
It's a very unpleasant place. I mean, up there is.
Yeah, where
Down
is a
here
good
is
place
cold
around here?
and dark, but
A good place?
Yeah.
not Redmere.
The closest good place.
He's really thinking. Yeah.
One of the worst
Oof.
places, those swamps that are to the south of us.
Right.
Oof.
The
Ouch.
best places.
You're gonna send Gideon home.
The fact that Josh still has not answered this question is really like tearing my soul apart. And Mississippi's soul.
He says, there's only one place that I know of where it's truly safe for your kind, and that is Glen Boydle.
That's your.
But that's
It's my
Oh, no, it's
her-
university!
your university. I thought it was his home.
Well,
I'm
I thought
going
you
home.
were saying that was my home base. I'm like, oh no. Oh, her place.
that is if the elves haven't destroyed it yet again.
Again, when was the most recent time they attacked it?
15 years ago was the last time it burned.
Was that when the prince was
That's
there?
probably the 7th time the Glen Boydle burned.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, so this is only the 8th genocide they're
Yeah,
asking for.
Exactly.
Only.
It's only the 8th.
So genocide works. The second one's less than the first. And then
Right,
the third
it's
one you
just-
gotta do less.
And there's your
It's like
There's-
waxing hair.
There's rumors that it will burn again very shortly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have heard that. haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
we do know that information. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give
I mean-
names. I'm doing it all,
You're
man.
gonna sing like a bird.
I'm giving names. Like I'm like, oh, okay. So let me tell you what brought us in here, and I'm like, this noble family.
It says, "Oh, we are very aware of Veralis and his
Machination.
his drive
I feel like that one.
to destroy the Glen Boytles.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
We are doing our best to sabotage, but
So you consider yourselves some kind of resistance?
no.
Oh.
Is there any kind of resistance around here?
Maybe
fine.
you can consider those of the Glen Boytles, and the prince, but not us.
The prince.
Is the prince still at Glenboydle?
I have
He
no
travels.
idea. He is never safe, so he's
Hmm.
constantly moving.
Understandable. Are you affected by the curse too? You're
Yes,
okay.
they're
In
even-
Gideon's story, I'm assuming he'd say that we are not affected by the
It,
curse, or
even though we are affected by the curse, there are ways we can work around it.
oh, what kind of ways?
We don't strike directly at the Grand Arcanist.
Understandable.
We strike at.
His apprentices.
We can't even strike those. No, but those who work for him,
Okay.
not those that he has extended his power to, but those that have extended. Those who are paid by him.
Mm-hmm.
They have no true allegiance,
Mm-hmm.
like Veralis.
Yeah.
Veralis is only in it for the bloodshed.
Yeah, I really want to kill him
Oh,
and his daughter.
that would be most fantastic, but very difficult. Elves are very hard to kill.
Do they ever travel?
Yes. Yes, they do. I'm sure you've seen the gigantic beasts that's made of metal that roam the countryside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they travel in, huh?
Yes.
Tanks.
Destination wedding? Yeah. Set up a little ambush. So why is it? This seems like so far you've been the best company we've had for a long time. Why? Why would it not be good for us to be here?
This is the heart of evil. Above you, the constructs are made that strike fear on the earth.
Redmere being the heart of evil.
Yes.
Not specifically the underground of Redmere. Just Redmere.
Yo, so you okay?
In the basement.
So when he was saying that, he meant like in general,
Right.
get out of the dang city, you
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah.
You're in the heart of not like what are you doing
Are there-
underground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there
Thank
But
you.
he didn't clarify. There was no clarification there.
Well, then
not
I
until
will-
now.
Well then,
are
well
there
then I will do what I just did
yeah.
to you, to him, just very matter of factly, like, oh, you. So you're not kicking us out of the underground.
He says, "No, but your presence here puts us all in danger."
and we wouldn't want that.
No. Is there a?
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Drummond.
Drummond?
Are you in charge around here?
He says, "There's no one truly in charge."
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Is there a way to slip outside the city walls
He
from
says,
this way?
"Yes.
Yeah.
The city was massive, and there are old riverways that have dried up. You could go for miles outside of the city."
Okay. That's really
Are
good.
they
to know.
easily accessible?
Relatively.
Is it
treacherous?
dangerous? Anything scary? We've been meeting all kinds of scary stuff we've never seen before. Is that kind of stuff down there?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Always, yeah.
There is nowhere truly safe in this world.
Okay.
Even down here, we are stalked and eaten as prey.
Horrible. I'd like to question him about like the gypsies, his people. Are they like organized of any sort?
He says,
Or are you guys
No.
you guys are unique for
"You
your folk?
you swear you know our kind, but then you ask us if we're organized. No, we are not."
I mean to say like out of character, what I'm trying to ask is like, are all gypsies going to be allies of us?
Oh. Gypsies have no true alliances, but that has made them more against the Grand Arcanist than not.
Potential allies,
Is there anyone we should look out for?
but not guaranteed allies.
Any gypsies we run into?
He says, "No, you can never tell."
Okay.
Okay.
But in general, you're thinking if we meet any, they'll receive us the same way.
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially. Not
Most
guaranteed
most of them
ally,
have
but
found themselves on the bad side of the Grand Arcanist.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, open to what you may be.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we get a quick tour to how to get out of here in case we need to? Because I mean, my plan isn't to get out. It'd just be kind of nice to know the area.
Right, because I mean, ideally we'll have him to get us out of the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
now you want your
I
fast
really
pass.
don't know about this. The more
Can
we're
I
in this
roll my
city, the
eyes
more
any
I'm like,
harder?
we need to get the crap out of this.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
he shows you a couple different ways,
Okay.
right? He shows you that there was a river that once went through the city, and then it goes in two directions, and it has long since dried up, and so you can go out west and you can go out east. The East River, he says, eventually there is a stream up there, and you have to be a little careful about it because it gets a little treacherous. And he says if you go through the stream, you can eventually make it into the gold mines itself.
really?
Yes. And then
That would be fun. To
to
go like collapse some gold mines just to screw these people over.
And then he says,
And to the west.
however, it gets very dangerous, and the gold mines are a hotbed right now. And then there are several other connections that go up into the city. Most of them are covered up with the locked sheds. Those have been. He says that those have been in place by the city officials because through the years of them using the city like this, it's been found out and whatnot.
Yeah,
So they've been
yeah.
every
They're
time
trying to curb it.
they're trying to curb it in the best that they can. They've done well enough to not get completely slaughtered and whatnot, but it's so they have to be very careful.
Okay.
And then there's an exit or two that kind of go out into the slums, and then the two connections that go way out.
Any notes about that western, the river that goes west? You said to the east it goes to the stream, goes to the gold mines. To the west.
The river that goes west goes all the way to the lake.
Okay.
I literally only have the 2 gold that I got from my performance because I sold everything to get that ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give it to him and just say I'm sorry that. He said, for what it's worth, we didn't mean for any of this to happen, but it really does seem like this guy screwed the pooch. But we were a part of it, so I know this is small, but at least for the tour. Thanks for the tour. This is, I'm gonna give him the 2.
He says, I don't need your gold. I have ways of procuring my own.
Okay.
Suddenly,
You need any help with that, or is there anything I can do for you?
He says, all you would do is make it a little bit more difficult for me.
All right.
Disregard.
All right.
Okay.
Well then, I guess we'll then take our leave then.
Okay.
Just many thanks and.
Yeah. Just last question that I have is just, do they know anything of any like slave uprisings or rebellions or?
He says, no, those collars, they put an end to that years ago.
What do the collars do?
Those collars,
Are they thought polices?
They.
If you're a thought police, you'd all been dead at the estate.
No, I would have absolutely, because the thoughts coming out of my head.
Those collars with a single spoken word can detonate.
Yikes.
Yeah. You say yikes, I'm thinking, oh, we just found out a way to get a lot of explosives. Fun.
He says,
Not on people. Get them off of people. They'll still blow up. Gideon really does want to like I'm serious. Like Gideon is like, I wonder if we could get in there and like collapse the mine. I know it's not gonna really. It's just gonna be bad for a while for him. Like,
do the collars have any like restraining properties to the slaves? Like outside of just being collars, like what effect do they have on the slaves?
no effect.
just fear.
Just marking and
yes, and
the
one
threat of-
one spoken word.
Is it the same spoken word?
Yes, and all collars within a vicinity will be detonated.
What's the word?
He says, I do not speak it, or else. He points up.
Can you
all
like,
them would
Write
die.
it down.
Can you sign language it to me?
Write it down.
Can you like?
He writes it down and hands it to you.
What's the word?
Oh, it would be like. Oh man, all I can think of.
And you don't get to choose because you can't read it.
Oh.
Oh my gosh!
That's right. I completely forgot about that. Gosh dang it. And I'm like, it's kind of fun to watch the letters dance. Here you go. Yeah.
Can you read Elvish?
Yes. No wait. Hang on.
For the record, I can speak
No.
English.
You just can't read
I
it.
just can't read it.
Well, it looks like Elvish.
It's an Elvish word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could try to phonetically spell it out.
Not right now.
But
Not right now.
Well, if you do, because I know the words. I know the words.
Yeah, but if you
Do you
say
mean-
the word,
Yeah.
Right.
All of a sudden, it sounds like
That's
Jiffy
right.
Pop upstairs.
Well,
what is the area of effect?
what a great thing you've given us.
This is
Genocide.
500 feet.
Whoa! Is if you say everyone within 500 feet goes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is why it's been so effective.
Because they don't just
Does
die
it
themselves. They
only-
end up killing other people.
Does
if
it
they
only
disobey.
work
Yeah.
if it's spoken in Elvish?
Yes.
Does it work if it's spoken in Common?
No.
Isn't it colors or colors?
Yep. You guys had those around your neck at one point.
Never again.
Everybody but Nate.
And Abbott.
No, Ab. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
wasn't-
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have made sense. You could have made the argument back then. So
You
yes.
have to sit at the table.
I wasn't there. I was standing outside, T-posing.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll leave then. And we'll go. I mean, I told them when I whispered to. I was like, "Well, we're just gonna go there. We'll meet you back at." Did we find a place to stay, or at the tavern? That
Yeah.
we were at
There was a
It was-
place.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to get
Let's
the crap
we can
outta here.
fast forward then to all 5 of you meeting up.
Were you a little disappointed not to find them at the killing fields,
The slaughter fields.
slaughter fields? Were you like, yeah, and my friends, this, and this? Aw.
You might have heard a little bit of excitement when I asked if an extremely ugly human got turned in. Loud mouth, can't miss him.
I would have been like, stop it.
So we eventually meet up.
Yeah, you're meeting up. You're met up.
Cool.
You're in.
I'm glad
Right
we're
now,
getting into his head.
you
though.
are-
This
you're
place
in
is
the-
being a bad influence.
You're
on me.
Yeah.
you're in the tavern, and people are looking at you guys really weird because Nate is not upstairs. He's downstairs with you.
Felric, do you speak Elvish?
You run out of options. Come on, only hope, only hope, only hope.
No. It's like, is Elvish anything like Celestial, Common, Draconic, or Ye Old Greek? Or Gnomish?
Nope.
Nothing like it?
Oh man.
Who gets
You better explain to me
languages?
what this
How does he not
what this
know
one-
that?
Bards, but
Before you
unfortunately, that
hand it
spell
to
doesn't
me.
work for him.
He can't teach it to someone, can he?
I
wizard
couldn't
so,
even write it.
So is there signage in Elvish around this town?
Absolutely.
You're not
Tons
wanting to
all
give
over.
it to him.
Okay, so I'm going to
I've shown
dutifully
amazing
copy
restraint.
Is there like a
random words in Elvish onto a piece of paper with
Mm-hmm.
that word copied in the middle somewhere.
Okay. Here, read this aloud.
And I'm going to say I don't want you to read these in Elvish. If you do, I will kill you.
Well, that's not a nice thing to threaten your master.
Okay, I'm assuming we're in like a quiet
Gosh.
Yeah.
room. I'm saying this.
I've-
I'm saying
And
this
then I whisper in
quietly
your ear,
enough.
it's like, dude,
All right.
we'll kill you.
But I need you to translate them into common for me.
No.
No.
She didn't end up going to the library. She ended up hanging out with me. Right, yeah.
And I have a dagger pressed to a very sensitive place.
Your groin.
Yeah.
that's the most sensitive place. Yeah.
I'm
Listen, she's the only one that can
Okay,
chip off
He's
the
in
spell the
robes,
right way.
so
Yeah.
literally.
yeah.
So the lazy brown fox jumped over the quick brown fox
Sly
jumped over the
lazy dog or
lazy
whatever.
dog. Right.
So
And the word that's inserted into the middle of there. I have to make it very ironic. Hold on.
Okay.
it's the English word.
Avada Kedavra!
the quick brown fox blew over the
It's the English word for pop.
Confetti.
That sounds about right for what these people are.
You guys are broken. It's so
Flash
messed
zone.
up.
It's actually, the word is Elrindle.
Or Randall, as we call it.
So it's a hyphenated word,
Okay.
right? And the word is called ultimate celebration.
Okay. If you ever,
And we'll figure that out later.
if you ever say those words in Elvish, you will detonate every slave collar. And you will get caught in the explosion, as will all of us.
With
And we will all
500
die.
No, not.
Shh.
I mean, just pops heads up, but yeah.
No.
It's a saw trap.
You will die. We will die. We will all die. Please never say those words in any vicinity to any slave collars.
Forbidden words.
Okay.
I take the piece of paper back, shred it, and I burn it.
Okay. So you guys can continue your conversation, not related to this. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
I ask if when we're outside of the city, if they want to know what the word is, because none of them.
Well,
yeah.
Which
No,
word?
you said it in common.
Which word in common was it?
Ultimate celebration.
Okay, well then I know what it is now.
Yeah.
I do say to him, keep in mind we're going to have our pack mule with us.
Can we please, just in our company, can we please stop calling him that? Just, with us.
That's what Gideon says.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I
ask
don't
the
think he had
pack
a
mule
name.
if he has
I
a
don't.
name. I'm gonna ask
yeah.
the slave. Is there anything that he refers to himself by?
Eeyore.
He says, most people call me scum.
Scum?
Scum the third.
I thought you said scump.
Scum.
We're just gonna call you S.
I rolled to see how if he had a name or not. I got a 1.
This
so-
dude was born into slavery, wasn't he?
Yep.
He was never named. Dang.
I would talk a little bit about my discoveries and what I have learned happens to people.
Do you
The
tell?
moment that happens.
Do you tell Elrindle that you have? Okay.
The moment you
I'll
do,
just-
I just start laughing.
I'll just say I volunteered, and then in his words that he volunteered at the rehab clinic for a little while today, and
You're
discovered-
upset to hear that there's a rehab clinic.
That's for people that can't handle it.
But
I know that you've
Yeah.
done the stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm really just holding on to it for rainy day.
Mobile rehab clinic.
But I'm totally I'll explain in gory detail what it's like a scare tactic,
Yeah.
what it is like at that rehab facility.
The whole time Gideon's like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give background to what it's like.
And Gideon's like, it's hurt so bad.
Yes.
And it leads to ultimate insanity is what happens. Is eventually without the but
That's what happens
there's
if
a
I run
chance
out.
to cure the addictions.
Hey, you got something on your chest.
But so
I say just keep going.
Is it something?
Enjoy it, man.
I was curious to know: is it something like if you take it once
I
or
got Keith
twice,
Richards as a
is
sponsor.
it gonna keep is it an immediate addiction, or is it like cigarettes? How you can smoke one or
He
two
took
every
it
so
once
often?
and he was addicted.
He
Yeah.
rolled
Oh, you're
poorly,
like
though.
immediately.
I also
addicted.
rolled very poorly.
Okay, so
Is that con save?
Yeah, I'm. If it wasn't for the proficiency, it would have been just flat roll.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
so then I'll ask: do you want to be cured?
He's fine. He's fine.
Well,
Knowing which
maybe
you
after this, and I kind of
maybe after this.
Yeah.
And he holds up, and his is blue.
Yeah. Like, be ashamed to have this go to waste.
And then you're looking around and be like, all these pieces of equipment that have the shards in them also.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Oh, he's addicted to our shards?
Yep.
Yes.
He
That
starts.
is incredible.
I can envision him attempting to lick the shard in his chest, and I have this vision of someone trying to lick their elbow, never quite getting there.
That's so funny.
Oh, don't worry, my gear's got the fire one, so that's gonna be like snorting freaking chili powder.
It's the cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Well, if no one else is talking, Gideon's going to start saying, "All right, so you want to go visit your tower? I mean, that's what we came here for, right? Let's get on out. Let's go do that quote unquote genocide thing, right? Isn't that what it is? Let's get out of here. This place is having a. I mean, you can stay if you want. You can just. But I think we should get out of Dodge.
Well, do we really want to break a deal to the person in charge of the giant walking monsters?
Let's be clear here.
Yeah.
You're not breaking a deal
Okay.
because there was not a set timeline on that.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
a set
it's-
timeline on that to meet the
Erden.
one Erden, right? But it wasn't a set timeline to do the actual genocide,
Right.
right? Because
Travel.
when he did that, when he was talking about you traveling across the country, you know, and committing that over there. So there's not a set. You assume that if you're not taking actions, eventually it'll be a thing, right? But as of this point, you going to your tower is not going to affect that at all.
The exclamation point over his head is
Yeah.
silver.
Yes.
Because it's awaiting us to come back
Yeah.
and complete the quest. Right? So.
I mean,
How did,
Mississippi talk to him more. Is your friendly psychopath going to be mad if we stand him up again?
We had to postpone it, so.
wait,
Probably.
Friendly psycho. What? Wait, what?
Erden.
Erden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't.
I forgot about
you
that.
didn't really know a bunch about Erden.
Yeah. He beat a slave to death with his own arm.
He ripped. Yeah.
What are we supposed to do?
We're supposed to meet him. Go
Why?
with him to quell the mushroom men in the mines.
But the plan is to relocate them so they're not in danger anymore.
Is that your plan?
Yes.
Is he going with us?
Yeah.
I'll convince him to wait outside.
Okay. If he refuses to stay inside, we're gonna have to kill him. You know that, right?
Not my friend.
Okay.
I do, when we get to a point where it seems like no one's talking about the flames anymore, I do let them know, by the way, they do poison the food for the elves at the Karma.
All right. Glad. See, that's why we didn't go there.
That would have been safe.
Maybe
Potentially.
I'm still trying to figure out why he even went there if he knows that they're going to poison it.
he went there
Maybe
to
he
hunt
didn't know.
people.
That's why he wasn't
that's
eating
why he
it.
wasn't
He had no intention of eating the food there.
Why buy anything? Why not just take up booth space?
Do you
and
think he
order coffee?
paid for that?
He totally didn't pay for it.
Oh, fair.
So, another thought process again, and I don't mean to interrupt anything. But Gideon very much is interested in just getting out of Dodge. Like, it's like so.
Well, we have to leave the city proper to go to the gold mines. It's like a half day's travel, right?
2 days.
2 days travel.
It was
to get
2
to the gold
hexes
mines?
away.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, but there's also there's a second way
We
there
have
Yeah.
through
But
the.
that involves not having Erden because we're not
Right.
going to show him that.
Yeah.
Right. So as of right now, our job or our quest, for lack of a better term, using computer games, meet Erden, go to mines.
There's also go to his tower is
Yep.
an option.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the whole go to the gold mines thing is,
Are we
to meet Erden and then go
concerned
there.
about blowing off the other guy. I mean, yeah,
He
did
might
the
be
thing.
mad, and the last time he blew off steam, he beat a man to death with his own arm.
Dang it!
Can I
That was
also say
very
this?
well played, Nate.
He was gonna go in there and do that with you or without you, right?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
They are
Yeah,
the
my
mushroom
plan's the
people
gold
that
mine, so
we-
that's I'm trying to
But,
convince.
Yeah, that's the thing is that if these are mushroom people that
Yeah.
are connected to the mushroom people we've met before,
we can go save
should
some of
probably
them.
go help them.
They were
Right.
pretty good to us.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna take it up to a vote.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. We can take it.
Yeah.
So what are our options? Going to the tower
Gold mines are.
or the gold mines?
Go to the tower / get out of Redmere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of Redmere's just plan exists.
Yeah, I think actually both ways kind of get you out of Redmere, but the one kind of means you need to go back.
Right.
Into Redmere.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
after doing the
The
gold
one
mines.
means
needs
that
to go back to
he
Redmere.
goes back.
We could stay on the outskirts and wait for
I
him.
mean, we don't have to do like again. So the plan is then we go meet this guy. We go to the mines, kill him, so the mushroom people are taken care of,
They'll just
and
send
then
more.
we leave, and then that's it. We're done. We go to your tower, and then we go find friends. Because guess what, guys? We finally found a place where it seems like there's friendlies that our
Second
names,
group of friendlies.
second group, this is a place where we are not immediately scorned, and it's for
They
college.
liked us.
And it sounds like
Did
did
they give titles to the others in our group?
You guys didn't talk about them, no.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you talk
Still
about
blissfully ignorant of
Well,
what
I mean,
am.
Gideon told the story and then
Why would
calls
you talk about
him
us?
I
the
told those
singer
stories.
of
I really know
tales
to the
and
DM's discretion because I totally would have brought all you guys up.
I just wanted to hear my title.
Yeah.
My proper title.
I mean,
Profit.
it would it have come up as I'm telling the story? Would it have come up where Mississippi's like, "Hey, by the way, what do you call them?"
Okay.
That's your
if he's
your
if
discretion.
he's the singer of tales and I'm the professor, what do you call the others?
All right.
I mean, we've heard of the abbot being called the Dark Prophet.
So the abbot is the dark prophet. He is the world breaker, right? And he is the quiet one.
Didn't do anything.
The quiet one.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's your name, huh? That's funny. That's funny. All right. I like mine. I like mine a lot. I think it's cool. It's fitting. As is yours.
Yeah, mine. Well, I can't take all the credit. It was her idea.
I hope one day I can expose you for what you've actually done, so I will stop being pinned
Dark
for it.
Prophet. So the quiet one, the Dark
Have you
Prophet,
been hiding your chest
the
this whole
World
time?
Breaker,
For the most,
the
For the
singer
most
of
part.
tales.
I will throw you.
that's
through
just
the
kind of
walls.
default. Is
Yeah.
don't show off the
Don't
Tony
show off.
Stark.
All right. Well, so our so we never took a vote like you suggested. So yeah. So
Let's
who wants to go just straight to the tower? Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's go find this angry person and let's play nice until it's time to not play nice and help our friends.
Okay.
You guys are in Redmere is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you got to go choose one of these squares, and then you can go over, not hexes, right? But the tower is, by the way, not all that much out of the way.
Sure.
You know, it's only really adding a solid day
Yeah.
to get over there.
Did we have a timeline to this?
We just have a timeline to meet Erden at 3:00 the following day
Yeah, and because he's at the gates.
at the eastern gates.
So I mean, we can tell them that
He was
you
afraid. He was afraid enough of
Okay.
making me angry that
Yeah.
we could stop by the tower on the way.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If you want to go,
Yeah.
do you have anything in your tower? No, we have no idea what's in your tower.
Do we reschedule with him?
No, let's just tell
He
him.
doesn't
that's
seem
what
like
we're
a-
doing.
Do we take him with us?
You do know that you had some crystals in the tower.
Oh, I'm all for the tower now.
Let's
Going to do this.
Because you were doing some
I'm
research on
here.
them.
well, let's meet this guy and yeah, let's
They
do
were
it.
Taking this out though.
So we're gonna take Erden with us then.
Yeah, because you can feel it out if you
All right.
think you can convince.
Let's
him that
fast
we're
forward
gonna
here
take it.
because
Yeah.
3 o'clock the next day, and you're standing around at the east gates, and Burden is nowhere to be seen.
Screw him. Let's go.
Yeah, let's just
So
go.
you're standing at the east gates. There's the
He's late.
there's the
How dare he.
the guards at the gate standing there, and they're looking, and you're just kind of like,
I asked him
Hang
if a big dumb half elf wandered by here, angry, violent, brutish.
oh, yes, he told us to give you a message.
Okay.
He says his bloodlust was too much for him to handle, and he left last night.
Oh, mushrooms are dead. Let's go to let's head south.
No. We all voted. Tower will have to wait. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's a solid.
He's a solid day,
day
ahead
ahead
of
of you.
us.
So he left when we were doing our thing yesterday.
So basically,
Well, if
we
they're asking for
we
help,
can
he might be in over his head.
potentially catch up at the risk of at least a level of exhaustion.
Well,
Probably two.
that wouldn't be fair to our pack mule.
His name
You want to go to the
is-
tower. You know what treasures lie
Steven.
within.
His name is Steven. I renamed him
Steve?
You've given him a real name.
Steve. Well, I can't think of a name that rhymes with scum. That's any better than scum. So I'm just taking the S because we started calling him S, and so I started calling him Steve. His name is Steve. I pat him on the back.
You can call him Gary. It rhymes with Carrie.
Okay, can I? No, I can't. Okay, you're not going to answer that question. I'm like, wait, is that your way of telling us it's over and you want us to move to the thing?
No,
Or
I'm
you're
just,
just
I'm
saying
just,
that's just what-
I am. That was always in the cards. So,
Okay.
he.
No matter when we met with him, he would
Yeah,
always
he
have
was-
left the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bloodlust. We need to take this guy.
You remember you guys delayed it once, and he had to go to the slaughter fields to relieve his bloodlust.
So we're gonna go try to catch up with him.
Do you want to try to catch up with him? Is the question. Or you know that he's not going to single-handedly do whatever at the because they've sent other men down into the mines and has been unsuccessful.
What's
So-
his dang problem then?
He's got
He
bloodlust.
wants to die.
Wants
He's
to kill
angry
things.
Strong,
Yeah.
violent,
Yeah.
and he's getting paid.
He's every good quality these elves love.
That's because he's half elvish.
All right. Well, let's. Let's.
He's all the tolerable qualities of
But-
humans.
But you know the thing is whatever damage he's going to do, he probably would have already done it by the time you get there.
But
So-
he's not going to wipe him out himself.
Well, let's go.
So
So I knows he's a level 20.
you go to now. The question comes again: are you going to the mine or are you going to the
Yeah,
tower?
we're going to the mine. We're gonna help our friends.
Mushroom?
Mushrooms.
Potential fit.
Your crystals will potentially be there.
She said she was gonna send out a message. That she was sending out messages to let them know.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Okay.
But she said she was sending out messages about
She
us
did.
to people, right? Didn't she say
Yeah.
that?
Mhm.
It just takes time for the spores to move. So, yeah, let's go.
Oh,
Alright.
before I leave town, I probably would have picked up a mortar and pestle.
5 silver.
Alright.
No, that's too expensive. 2 silver.
No, fuck. Don't support his addiction.
Oh,
Okay. He literally has a thing in his chest that is this stuff. This is
So,
amazing.
I might borrow your archaeology.
So-
This is amazing.
No! You are
So,
not borrowing my archaeology.
you guys
tools.
leave outside the east gate and
Then you
proceed
do it.
to go into the mountain range.
No!
Right? There is a twisting, winding road that goes to the mountain line, goes through the mountain range. In the middle of this road is a gigantic rail track
Yeah.
that totes the ore from the mine all the way here to the city.
Are they two-way tracks?
Yes, and it that you're looking at this. These are well used tracks. Back when 300 years ago, this was a concept idea.
Mm-hmm.
It is now enacted and in place. Because back then they didn't need that much gold, but now they're using quite a bit.
Is there like a station outside the city?
Like a, what do you mean?
This isn't a passenger thing.
I'm gonna make it a passenger thing.
The answer is no.
Turn it!
Nope. And
Breaking my heart.
Settle down, Temple of Doom.
anyways, so as you're walking along, you can just follow these and not get lost, right? They're very simple and just follow the tracks.
Probably this is probably the way he went, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
might get there.
When you're about a half day, you see up on the track, kind of twisting around one of the gigantic mountains. You can see a large mine cart filled with ore being pushed by 6 brutish humans, and you can see that there is a dwarf riding on back of this kind of large, like, monitor lizard thing. It looks like a monitor lizard, just like on steroids and crack, to the point where it has a saddle and the dwarf is riding it, and the dwarf has a whip and is occasionally whipping the humans as they're pushing this gigantic minecart. And it's very slow going. You can tell that it's got it's very laden with heavy metal. And they're probably pushing it, and it's like going like 1 mile an hour. The monitor lizard also has a couple of satchels, probably with supplies and whatnot in it. And so you guys,
Are the slaves wearing collars?
the slaves are wearing colors, yes. Anyway, so he's every once in a while he's whipping and shouting commands.
Who else is around?
Us.
You, and that's it. Anyway, so
Yeah?
so
Yeah.
as he's getting closer or whatnot, he stops whipping and he kind of bows his head to El Rendell as you guys start to make their way by. He says, "Good day, my lord," as they pass.
Ask him if he saw the idiot.
Did a bloodthirsty half elf wander through here recently? Wander past you?
He says, yes, I saw one.
About how long ago?
We left the mines, and we're," he says, "probably 12 hours ago."
Okay, so he's at the mines?
He said, "I would assume he's arriving shortly, yes."
Okay. So
The
now
cart,
you're in now you're
the cart
in
is
charge of
moving
slavery?
at 1 mile an hour. It's going so slow.
It's slower than us.
It's slower than you on foot. Anyways,
You're
so
better off riding, Gary or Steve or.
you guys separate and they continue to.
Hang on. I whisper, I message her,
Okay.
and I say, "How quickly do you think you could get on his back and close his mouth?"
The dwarf?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to find out?
Hang on. What are we gonna say? So me and Mississippi are thinking about taking this guy down. I whisper to you. What do you say?
So, I don't have the message spell, so anything I would have to reply.
No.
You can you can
whisper?
respond with message.
You whisper back. We've done this a few times now.
So, I say, are you planning on doing something with the collars?
Mississippi's gonna try to climb up there and shut his mouth and gag him.
You're talking to the person who probably has the fastest speed up.
That's true. Unless you want to do that. Do you want to get on his back and
The one who's
do you want to get on
proficient
his
in
back
hand to
and
hand.
Yeah, the one who's
grapple with that?
proficient in.
Alright.
You do that, and then I'll hit him with a. Well, he'll have a really bad headache.
1 second.
And then while you're thinking, I'm gonna say, "Hey, me and Mississippi and
Did a Drummond?
You know what, Felric? Me and Mississippi and Felric are thinking
Did
about
Drummond
attacking
give
this
us
guy.
any?
He's gonna
like,
jump on
is
his
there
back.
any way
and-
to take off the collars to dismantle
I've taken
them?
them off before.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking. I would have asked Drummond.
He says, "Yeah, you need to be elvish to take him off."
What about half elves?
Can we actually kick this back
He
because
says, "I think that would work."
Can we actually kick this back a little bit? Because again, like Gideon has a friend now. His name is Steve. And as soon as we got out of sight of everyone else, I'd have been like, "Let's get this stinking collar off of this guy. Enough is enough."
So,
like, we can put it back on him when we go back, but like, or if we're coming up on anyone, but like, seriously, enough is enough. Let's just let him go.
I said, fine, we'll let him decide.
Hey, Steve, do you want to be free?
He says, "What's free?"
I'm going to let you go. I'm going to take that collar off of you. Oh, man, Stockholm Syndrome. Don't do this to me.
He's literally born a slave.
Yeah.
This is the only life he knows.
Oh,
I
but
do
he's
have a
dreamt
question
of
relating to
slavery.
weapons.
He's dreamt of slavery. The whole South was won because of people born into slavery, fighting.
He says, I don't know what I would do."
Well, you have the world before you.
He probably doesn't know how to take care of himself.
I do have a question.
He says, "Yes, take it off."
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Faith being restored.
I have
Okay.
a question.
Now I'm gonna roll a die.
Okay.
So you go up, and all you gotta do is click it, right, and it removes.
Before any of this happened, when we were by ourselves.
Roll an insight.
Pretty good.
10!
I'm really good at insight.
I'm gonna Tides of Chaos this one,
I'm always watching things.
Okay.
since I'm the one taking his
Well,
collar
you
off.
want to roll an insight?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
that
In
is-
fact, anybody can roll an insight. This is just a group event.
yeah.
9.
15.
27.
So
Insight the wrong thing.
he
It is.
starts shaking when you get close to take it off, and you can see this nervousness. He's got some beads of sweat coming down. He's extremely nervous,
He's heard about what happens when these collars explode.
and when you're looking at him, he's like, there's a chance he might do something like drastic.
Oh.
Do you know how to make someone fall asleep?
No, I mean,
You
I could.
ingest some poison.
You know what?
You've seen me charm people through song many times. Not many times, a few times.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Mm.
How high up is this dwarf when he's on his?
Well,
lizard?
this is before. We're actually.
I'm asking
yeah.
just out of curiosity.
Oh, it's a large beast, so like Clydesdale large.
Yeah.
Wider than a Clydesdale because the monitor lizards,
Right.
the way they walk and whatnot. So getting up there, then you have to climb the thing, which require. It's gonna be.
I'm asking for jumping distance.
It's gonna be. Yeah. Oh, his height. His
10.
mouth is probably up like 10 feet in the
Okay.
air. Yeah.
Do you know what normal jumping distance is for jumping straight up?
Yeah, it's your athletics divided by 5, I think, is how many feet. Athletics divided by 5 equals feet.
Left side, under long jump. I think it has high jump on there.
High jump. You have to move 10 feet and jump a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier. That's even different than.
It's even less than I think he was going to
So
give you.
you can jump 3 plus your strength modifier, which is -1. So you can jump 2 feet.
That makes a whole lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense.
I'm just asking. So sometimes some of this stuff is like acrobatics and all that. So
No slam dunk.
Well, and you
Not
can extend
jumping.
your arms half your height above yourself, so you're 2 feet
What's the
tall.
point? What's the point of athletic skill, by the way? If they took high jump and long jump off of the athletic skill,
Right?
Yeah.
No, pushing, pulling, lifting.
it's still, but jumps used to be also included in there.
Yeah. You
That's
are
what
the
I was
DM.
You know, anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
alright, sorry. I just
Okay.
Anyways, is Steve going to shank me as soon as I take this off? Or,
I can't tell.
Yeah, he's gonna do something.
Do
I
you
can
stop
Um,
me?
Yeah, you've seen me calm people before.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You might want to get ready to
Alright.
put the calm on him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't really want to use my ingested poison.
He looks to you after you've taken it off, right? And he says, "Can I have it? I wish to destroy it."
So is this after he's calmed? Because they're having this conversation with me, right? Are they having? Are you...
Yeah. He hasn't been calmed yet. No, he hasn't been calmed.
Well, I'll charm him then. He needs to roll wisdom. Saving throw. 15.
Yeah. He's charmed by you.
Okay.
I
Yep,
know
it
it's
sure
not.
is.
I
Hey, let me. I'll give it to him. He'll be friendly to me.
I'll hand it to you and take several steps away.
Because he has it in his hands right now?
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to be like, let's take a walk.
I'm going to
I have a gift for you.
go with
Yeah, I have a gift for you. And I'm
and
going to.
surreptitiously have a dagger.
Yeah.
What do you guys think he's gonna do with it?
Put it on the
He
elf.
might know the Elvish word.
So
I
I'm going
think
to just.
someone's. I don't know. He might never have heard it.
The chances of him.
Oh,
hearing
I
the
know
word
it now.
Is never.
He says
Yeah.
he wants to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I said, let me see it.
Yeah.
So come with me, friend. I got a gift for you. And I actually, the gold coins that were given back to me, I give to him. I said, this is yours a gift. This will take care of you.
Yeah.
And I actually toss it up in the air and I say the word.
I want you to roll a percentage for me, and if you get a 3% or less, there's somebody else nearby.
I got 80.
Okay.
Huh.
There's a chance. There's a chance that somebody just happenstances by, but
Sure.
not
Like
a very
the
high.
slave
Not a very high
The
chance.
collar that'll explode. So what happens when he says the word?
So yeah, it's just a little tiny poof, and just enough force where the leather shatters, and the little crystal that's in it kind of explodes. Just
I was hoping to hear like a heavy sigh coming around the corner, like I'm gonna have to get another one.
Right?
Who
yeah.
said it?
It's just enough force to basically remove the head from the body. Not even enough to like, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
It's like
And
those big
I'm just gonna
collars in
say,
Wild Wild
start your life,
West, but
friend.
not.
And then I tell him if you can, and I tell him to go to where the former college was. To just say like
Glen Boyle.
Glen Boyle.
Glen Boyle, they seem to be a little bit more friendly. However,
You can
I
tell
also
them
tell him about harm. He said because he's an orc, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell him harm, very friendly to orcs.
There's a few places around that are.
Well, I would tell him just a few of those spots or whatever. I give him a couple gold, and I say, man, just
Harm is closest.
yeah.
And I will say, if he goes to Glen Boyle, tell him the professor sent you.
Yeah. I just say, listen, and I just kind of look at him and say, you know, just go on your way. Your past is in your past, friend, right?
Yeah.
It is in your past, and the further you walk away, the further your past is behind you. So just keep walking.
Okay. So he looks off to the west.
I'd like
Which
to
is
request
literally
the
the way
stuff
we
I
just
had him
came.
holding back.
Yeah, he drops his backpack. He's not even carrying the backpack
Okay.
anymore.
No, yeah.
And
I walked off with all my camping gear.
he starts to walk to the west. And then
Which
he
is
just
exactly the way we came.
which just picks up pace, and then he starts running, and then he's like running as fast as he can, and he's a
Well,
built
he's
orc,
strong,
so
yeah.
it's quite a speed and whatnot, and he just runs.
Okay.
Forrest
Go,
Gump style.
Steve. Go.
Yeah.
Go with sure, Lathander's blessing. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I'd be like,
But you heard me say like, sure, Lathander.
Yeah,
So-
sure, fine.
Pull that whatever.
We're getting at the end of the night here, so we're gonna skip ahead, and I'm just gonna roll.
Well,
Okay.
the slave thing though.
I think our scene that we just did is the replacement.
Yeah, well, we can pick up with that actually
Okay.
at the beginning of next session, and then we're going to
We can just
go
say we
into the
free
mines.
us and it'll be fine. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's
I'm
that
gonna-
simple.
I'm gonna make it a skill challenge.
Sure. Okay.
So it'll be quick and easy, but there'll have to be some thought to it.
Because I was just gonna drop some dissonant whispers in his head really fast, really hard.
We'll talk about this next week.
yeah,
Yeah.
next week. Then we'll go into the mines, and then hopefully at some point you'll go to the tower.
Because you're excited about the tower.
I'm really excited for the
Yeah.
tower. I found some really cool stuff.
Cool.
for it. So, but yeah, we'll be back next week with I think it's episode 11 of Cataclysm
12?
and 12.
I don't know.
No, 9 was Plan B's genocide.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and hopefully we'll get some combat in because
I mean, we were trying to get there.
been a little light the last couple sessions. So,
No, I think
But-
7.
we'll see you later.